on the far western fringes of this storm. So if you are in Salado, if you are in Academy, if you are in Belton along 317, you do want to make sure that you are taking cover immediately. Also the Holland area. Holland, you guys are in the direct path of this storm at this particular time. Let's read up on the latest details on this storm, because this is a dangerous situation. It's moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. So Salado at 620, Belton and Little River Academy around 640, and Temple and Morgan's Point Resort at 645. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a track on this. This is a northeasterly track. There it is, right on top of Gerald. And that is where we're going to be seeing that tornado warning storm in place. So let's go ahead and zoom it out over the next hour, and we're going to show it to you. All right, so here's the timing of this storm. There is the tornado warning storm. There is that tight rotation in and around the Gerald area as well. Sparks at around 637. That's just to the north of Holland, between Holland and Little River Academy. And Academy High School, by the time you get to 642, that's when that storm reaches Academy. Just eastern sections of Temple by the time we get just prior to 7 o'clock tonight. So if you are in Temple, I would watch this closely. We're going to be seeing the rotation on this to see if it holds together by the time it does reach Temple. But I do think we could see a little bit of rotation just to the south and east of Salado and on towards the north and west sections
on the ground moving northeast from Gerald.
Yeah, we're on that. Yeah, Curtis Quillen just told us about the scanner on the tornado on the ground, because we are actually on this, because this is a very dangerous situation. You want to make sure that you are in your safe place if you are in anywhere in southern Bell County, especially in places like Salado, especially Holland, as well as Little River Academy. Stand by east side of Temple. If you're on the eastern edge of Temple, on just east of Interstate I-35 in downtown Temple, you're going to want to stand by for this, because it is possible that Temple may need to get in their safe place as well. Also the east side of Belton, you need to be in your safe place as well. Anywhere in Belton, quite frankly, along on Highway 317 and Interstate 35, you're going to want to make sure you focus on this, but it is moving southeasterly in and around the Salado area. Now,
Jordan, we're getting confirmation of very large hail embedded in this stuff as well. 3/4 of an inch in Williamson County. They're along Interstate 35, very close to Gerald and Florence as well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. We got another scan, and let's see if this rotation. I'm going to pull everything out for just a second. We've got we're going to clear this out for just a second, because we're going to see some of the rotation. Let's see, we got the rotation. Ooh, okay, the rotation is in Gerald. It's just to the west of there, and just west of Interstate 35. It's, we can't really get street markers here in Williamson County, but once we get into Bell County, that's when we're going to start to see some street markers here. But what I can show you guys is that rotation does look like it started to weaken just a little bit.
Right in here.
But there's the rotation you're talking about. Yeah, there's another broader area rotation. There's that tight area right there, Andy, what Andy's pointing at. Just in to the west of Gerald, and that system should be moving northeast, but it's starting to turn more due north. And if that's the case, then Belton, you definitely need to be in your safe place if you're in Belton. However, as we head, there it is, another scan, just had it make a nice little easterly nudge off to the east. So it's mainly starting to look more like that northeasterly track that this is looking at. And this velocity is really showing that tight rotation couplet here. There you see it. That looks very well defined, a strong twist, a strong rotation embedded in this thunderstorm. And we're going to go ahead and track this one more time. It's about moving to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. And we're going to go through this over the next 15 minutes because we have it kind of zoomed in here. But it'll show us that it doesn't really show us anything, so we're going to zoom this out just a little bit more. And we're going to get a little bit more in terms of timing on this, because this is very, very important here. So Andy, would you want to add anything real quick?
Well, just for those of you who are watching here, if you're a little bit lost on the markers, this is Interstate 35 right here. Here's the county line. Here's Williamson County, and here is Bell County. Here is Gerald. Florence is back this direction. You're looking at Salado just to the north of you. So you've got a storm that is tracking right through rural portions of extreme southeastern Bell County. Could make its way through Holland. But again, this is the general motion of a very dangerous storm right now, and Jordan has been very good about telling you what you need to do. Interior room of your house, be prepared for very strong gusty winds that could do damage to not only tree limbs but blow out windows, so you want to get away from the windows, and as he said, put as many walls between you and outside as you possibly can. Find your safe spot. This storm again moving off towards the northeast, east-northeast really, at about 35 to 40 miles an hour, has a record of 60-mile-an-hour winds and very large hail in it. So this is not a drill. This is the real deal here, and it does bring back memories of Gerald 24, 25 years ago across southern Bell County and northern Williamson County. Tornado warning in effect until 6:45 for Bell County and adjacent portions of Williamson County as well. We have a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. That means the entire area, all of Central Texas, is ripe for the development of thunderstorms that can produce this kind of weather. Large hail, strong winds, and damaging tornadic activity as well. So we're going to be on our toes throughout the evening. And as we have a tornado on the ground right now, we're preempting other programming to keep you safe and what is happening locally in our area right now. A strong thunderstorm producing a tornado. You see the center of it here. You're looking at the velocity channel of the radar. What we're looking for here is the winds moving towards the radar site and away from the radar site. Contrasting colors, the reds and the greens, and where we see them coming together, that is where we know there is rotation, and the center of that rotation is right there just south of the county line, just to the north of Gerald, almost crossing I-35. We don't need to tell you, stay off the interstate tonight because it's going to be a very dangerous evening for us. The tornado warning is in effect until 6:15 for this particular storm. That doesn't mean that after 6:15 we're out of the woods. We could see this extended just like we saw it extended for Williamson County into Bell County. Tornado warning in effect until 6:15. Communities that could be affected in this storm, if it follows this cone of travel that we're anticipating, it's going to be making its way through Holland, very possibly heading very close to Academy along Highway 95 there. So please stay off the roads.
Yes,
get away from the dangerous weather. Don't go out and be a looky-loo. But if you do happen to get photographs, we would sure love to be able to share them. Send them to us via the 6 News app. Look for the Near Me feature. Click on that, and you can feed your photos to us of severe weather going on, large hail as well. Here's the radar showing the storm making its way out of the Austin area. North of Georgetown, we had a report of a tornado on the ground in Round Rock as well, and is now pushing off into southern Bell County. And again, we think the travel on this is going to take it just through Holland and possibly on up towards Seaton, maybe a lot if it holds together that long. Here's a timetable we're talking about: 6:18 for Rogers, almost 6:30 for Seaton. A little community of Airville, they're close to the Falls and Bell County line, about 6:30. Barclay about 6:35. Burlington, as you're heading towards Cameron, by about 6:40. Rosebud, Lot, High Bank, and Marlin as well. So if this storm holds together, then it could be causing some big problems for much of the Brazos Valley all the way into Falls County as we track this storm through the evening. Again.
Yeah, I just saw that the rotation, could you bring up Max 2 again, because that rotation has now just crossed into southern Bell County, just off of the I-35 corridor, still west of I-35. It hasn't crossed the interstate yet, but if you could pull up Max 2, guys, in the production room, because we have the velocity vector.
There you go.
There it is, right there, just to the west of I-35. And that couplet, I will tell you, it does look like it's starting to weaken just a little bit. It is a little bit further away from the radar site, which is in Granger, but there's still a good tight rotation associated with it. If it keeps more of a northerly track, it could be headed right for portions of Salado, like southern sections of Salado. Now, that's as long as this rotation holds together. But what I can tell you is if it keeps that northeasterly track, then as Andy mentioned, we could be looking at Holland, we could be looking at just to the south of Academy. But if it takes a more northeasterly track, if it has a more northerly component than an easterly component, we could be looking at Belton, we could be looking at east sections of Temple, like places like between 5th, 31st, east of there. So something we're going to have to watch as well. Now, we're going to go ahead and zoom this in a little further to see which streets are directly in the path of this in southern sections of Bell County. And if you are along Granger Road, Horned Frog Road, Farm to Market 2115, and Bean Road there, and Hackberry Road as well, you're going to want to make sure that you're in your safe place. Prairie Dell, this might be on top of you within the next couple of minutes here. So if you're in the Prairie Dell area, you need to be watching us on our live streams and not on TV unless it's in that basement, in that interior room away from those windows. So here's another scan. We just got another scan, and it looks like the rotation is starting to somewhat broaden a little bit, which is good news, and we're getting quite a bit of heavy rain here at the station as well, because definitely something to watch, and that would be definitely good news if this rotation continues to broaden and continues to weaken. But a tornado warning in effect because of the confirmed tornado that was on the ground in and around portions of northwest Williamson County, in and around the Gerald area, bringing back memories of 25 years ago when we had that tornado in the Gerald area that caused all of that damage. And now there you see that rotation. Now it's starting to get ready to cross Interstate 35 right now, just to the north of the Williamson County line, just where a lot of those travel centers are, just to the north of the Gerald area in extreme southern Bell County. And it probably was just to the south of the Bell County rest area as well. So if you're on 35 listening to us between the Bell County rest area and Gerald, you're going to want to need to pull over, find a sturdy structure, maybe in that travel plaza, and you're going to want to hold there for a few minutes as this tornado, this tornadic cell, makes its way across Interstate 35. So definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to as you head throughout the course of these next few minutes, into these next few hours. And if this storm continues that northeasterly track, like what we're suspecting, we're looking at mainly the Holland area, and we're mainly looking at areas just to the south of Academy that could be seeing that thunderstorm activity as well. So definitely something we're going to be watching and we're going to be keeping tabs on. And Andy, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, can we go over to Max 1 real quick, a little wider view on this, and let me show you the tracker on it. It is very likely going to be affecting the urban areas of southern Bell County very shortly. Temple, Troy, along I-35, Bruceville, Eddy, Cameron, Marlin. You may not get the tornadic winds or the twister itself, but you're certainly going to get some very heavy rain. There's a good possibility you're going to see hail embedded in this stuff as well, and a lot of lightning. And as Jordan pointed out, we've got some very heavy rain falling here in downtown Temple right now. The dangerous part about this tornadic activity that we're tracking, and we do have a tornado on the ground there across extreme southeastern Bell County, across the county line from Gerald and heading what looks like in the general direction of Academy and Holland. The rain is very heavy, as Jordan pointed out, and these tornadoes can get rain wrapped very rapidly, so they're hard to point out with the naked eye. So,
all right,
pay attention to what we're talking about here, and try to stay off the roads. We'll try to point out where these storms are inside with the radar. The Doppler radar has been very good.
We've got a report of debris falling on I-35. 5 miles north of Gerald. So I would imagine 5 miles north of Gerald, that would probably be around the Bell-Williamson County line where those travel plazas are, where you could be seeing as well. So that's definitely something we're watching. And also the spotter is, never mind, that's for
very close to the roadside parks there. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Again, this is a serious weather situation. We have a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, and a tornado warning, which means there is a tornado in progress right now, moving out of Williamson County and across the extreme southern portions of Bell County. You could see very strong gusty winds anywhere across southern Bell County, including the Temple area and Belton. Let's switch over to Max 2 and show you the vertical velocity on this again. And the map showing you here's Salado, and here's where we're seeing that debris that Jordan was just talking about, which puts it across the county line, and again, very close to those.
Let me see if I can pull up a correlation coefficient real quick for you.
Okay.
There's that wider view of that radar for you guys. That's where we saw it. There's that tornado watch that Andy mentioned as well. And there's actually a new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Coryell, western McLennan, eastern Hill, and much of Bosque County as well, in addition to the tornado warning that we are tracking at this hour. And here is that tornado warning storm once again for Salado, for the Georgetown area. And let's see if I can pull this up. Ooh, it's going the wrong way. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and then we're going to, stop it here, and we're going to actually stop. We'll actually stop the play mode on our Mac system here, and then we're going to bring it back in, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit play. We're going to
That might be a better picture to show the audience. I think it makes it a little easier for them to see.
I agree, because there's
lighter rain here,
rain.
the more heavy rain, the very intense rain, and possibly even some hail showing up over here south of Stillhouse Hollow and the Colleen area. Again, everything that we're watching here is moving from the south back towards the north and eventually working its way towards the east as well. So very strong downpours of rain falling right here along Interstate 14, Highway 190, and along the I-35 corridor from Belton south towards the county line with Williamson County, and it's all making its way towards Belton and towards Temple and towards Troy and Eddy and into Falls County as well very shortly. Right now you're getting some light to moderate shower activity, but we have seen some very, very heavy rains of over 2 inches in some of these storms already. So it is a very dangerous situation.
Okay. All right, we have a video of that tornado in Round Rock that's just come into our newsroom. Let's see if we can pull that up. There you see it. All right, it's from our sister station KB. That's on their camera. That's outside of the Kalahari Resort in Round Rock, and that's it's one of their weather cams outside of Round Rock. There you see it, right there. And let's see. I'm gonna try and see if I can bring me on real quick, because I want to show you guys what we're dealing with. We're starting to see some of that area of rotation. That looks pretty broad from this particular picture, but there you can see the debris starting to fall from the sky a little bit as well in portions of Williamson County. There it is. You can barely see it, but there's debris. That's houses, that's businesses being torn by this storm in Round Rock. Now, it looks like a very broad area of rotation at this moment, but then we had that tornado make its way through the Gerald area, and we're waiting to see the damage assessments from there, but it's definitely something we're going to have to watch. And here comes Andy. We're going to bring Andy back on, and we're going to show you a little bit more about what the deal is here. Or actually, never mind. He's going up to the desk for a quick minute, but here we go. Anyways, we are starting to see that tornado. It's now pretty much weakened, and let's bring back the radar from where we are here. There you see the heaviest rainfall in and around the Salado area, just off to the north of there. And let's go ahead and let's show you the velocities as well, because that's going to be very important to see if that rotation has started to broaden out. Over the last few scans, we've seen that rotation start to broaden, and that is definitely good news here. And starting to see it, well, we're starting to see a little bit of rotation, a little bit of a couplet in and around areas just to the east of Salado, in extreme southern areas of Belton as well. But it's looking more like it's taken a northerly turn rather than an easterly turn. So we're looking more so as places such as southeastern sections of Belton, maybe even eastern sections of Temple if it stays on an incline and straddles I-35, maybe Little River Academy as well. But what we are seeing is that we are seeing the rotation start to broaden out. So that's good news. It's still capable of dropping a tornado again, but definitely that's going to be the good news here, is that it's not that tight couplet. It's not that tight, bright couplet in the middle like what we saw in northern sections of Williamson County. But that is definitely a reminder, that video we saw out of Round Rock. Let's pull it up one more time, because that kind of reminds you about how dangerous these storms are, these tornadoes are. And let's see if we can pull it up one more time for you, Crystal, up in the production room here. because we have that storm that was on our K-View camera. It was on our sister station K-View's camera. It was located in the Round Rock area, and that storm looked like it had some tighter rotation, but we saw some debris flying. You could barely tell, but there was debris flying from that storm, and I bet you we're going to get some reports of damage in and around that area off to the north and west of Gerald where that tornado hit. It was very similar to that tornado that hit 25 years ago. So something we're going to pay attention to, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pass it back on over to Andy.
Thanks, Jordan. Doing a fine job.
Thank you.
We're beginning to see this storm weaken a little bit. That doesn't mean we're out of the woods. This is a very dangerous storm. Switch over to the Max 1 real quick because I've got a tracker on there I want to show you. Here's the storm we're talking about. There's moderate to heavy rain, a lot of cloud cover, heavier rain here in the storm cell that's now getting very close to Temple and Belton. It is getting very close here and moving quite rapidly. Has a history of dangerous winds of 60 miles an hour. Hail to the size of inch to an inch and a half being reported down towards Round Rock earlier this evening. And we were looking at the tornado. You just saw the video of this storm. It's rain wrapped now. We're losing a lot of the light. We're still seeing some broad rotation, but again, as I mentioned to Jordan, it's beginning to weaken a little bit. Still holding together and making its way back towards the Temple area, Belton as well, Troy, Academy. You're very likely going to see deteriorating weather conditions very rapidly. There's the potential for hail in these storms and dangerous winds. If you got your car where you can move it to safety, you'll be doing yourself a favor because it does look like this is going to be some damaging hail in this stuff. You yourself should be moving to an interior room of your house. For safety's sake, get away from windows because the windows will be going with the tree limbs breaking and the winds blowing as well. So a very dangerous situation. And you may be able to hear the very heavy rain on our studio roof here in downtown Temple. Tornado warning is in effect until 6:45 tonight, so it's another about 20-25 minutes to go on that warning for this storm. It has weakened some, but not enough that they're dropping the warning for this storm. So we're keeping on top of this storm and its progress as it makes its way into Bell County. It's held together very well as it brewed up south and west of Austin. Down near Blanco is where we first began to watch this storm. It's made its way through the Austin metropolitan area, and very likely, if it continues on this track, then hey, we're moving over into portions of Falls County and to extreme eastern portion of McLennan County as well. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for McLennan County, Coryell County, and Bosque County for this line of showers as well. They're not tornadic at this point, but look right here. You can see some hail showing up in this storm just south of Crawford there, getting very close to the Twin Bridges very soon. Again, activity moving out of the southwest back towards the northeast, not unusual for this time of the year. It trails all the way back down towards Adamsville into Lampasas and down into Burnett County, and even seeing some storms over towards Llano and San Saba County as well with this. So please be extremely careful and don't go out in this kind of weather if you can avoid it. If you are able to get some pictures, we'd love to see them. Go to our 6 News app and use the Near Me feature and share your photos with us, and we will get them on the air or on our website as well. But again, right now, it's not the time to go out looking for pictures. We want to keep you very safe because these storms, again, holding together but showing some weakening across the area. There, just to the south of Temple, it looks like on the latest scan, it too is weakened a bit as well. Jordan?
Yeah, it does look to be too as well. I'm looking at, because we're getting reports of a tornado just to the north of Taylor as well. And that's in northern Williamson County, and it looks like it's this cell right here that's headed right towards the, if you could bring up Max 2, I'll show it to you. It's along Highway 95. There it is. It's just to the north of Circleville, and it's splitting Circleville and Granger, and it's headed right towards the Fort Hood radar site, which would be not very good for our weather tracking. It's off to the north of Taylor. This is possibly the Round Rock tornado that we caught on video, that K-View caught on video of their outside of their resort. It might be headed right towards it or maybe off to the north and east of it as well. But as we take a look at Bell County here, Oh, yes. On third. Live video. Okay, we're going to be going to live video now. This is on the, this is right outside of our station. People are trying to shelter right now. There you see it. There's a line of cars going in, trying to seek shelter under a parking garage. And actually, I have my car under there as well because, you know, I'm trying to protect it from the hail and the damaging winds. But I'm going to tell you right now, and let's go back to the tornado from Round Rock as well. We're going to show it to you as now because I want to remind you guys, because that looks like a very strong area of rotation, and it's that tornado that's headed close to that Fort Hood radar site at this particular time. But I want to tell you guys, when you have a tornado, you want to make sure you are in the lowest level of your house. Make sure you are having as many windows, or as many walls, I should say, between you and the outside world. And if you are in a mobile home, you need to make sure that you are outside, that you are out of that mobile home and into a sturdy structure. And that's going to be very important for you. Make sure you are outside of your mobile home and into a sturdy structure. Make sure that you are also in the lowest level of your home with as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. And please, please, please stay away from windows. All right, we've got tornado sirens in Temple going off at this particular point. So here in Temple, you need to make sure that you are in your safe place right now. Andy?
Yeah, absolutely right. And this is that same storm that we've been tracking here that made its way out of the Gerald area, now approaching the Temple and Belton area. That's the reason for the warnings going off. Here's your little cone of silence right there at the radar. By the way, the Granger radar has been having technical problems all day long today. It's gone down twice now. They got it back up again. It died as the technician was driving away. He ran back, got it back up again. We just got word that the Granger radar is offline once again. So our information here is coming to us from the Austin San Antonio radar site and compiled with the Dallas Fort Worth radar site, overlapping to give us the radar picture that you're seeing. So we're looking at a very strong thunderstorm with the potential for tornadic activity. You see the reds and the greens close together there, and it's getting so close to Temple, Belton. Here's Temple, here's Belton. Seaton's back this way, Academy's there, Rogers, Holland. The whole storm activity is making its way into the center of Bell County. Please, as we said earlier, seek shelter now. You saw the video of automobiles trying to find some covered parking in downtown Temple. You're not going to have a whole lot more time. Just seek shelter, get to a place of safety for yourself. Don't worry about your material belongings. Be sure that you yourself are safe. Again, this is a very dangerous storm. Let's take a look at Max 1. Let's take a look at the reflectivity here. Not only do we have this storm making its way into Bell County, which is our main concern right now because it has a history of producing a tornado, and there's still some broad rotation going on in the mid levels of that. But we've also got a very strong set of storms making their way up from Lampasas across western portions of Bell County into Coryell County as well, into McLennan County, across northern Fort Hood. We're seeing some very heavy storms and very likely seeing some large hail being reported in these storms making their way across southern Bosque County. Now this is going to be in the vicinity of Crawford, back over towards Valley Mills as well. Moshim also in this same area getting some very heavy rains. This stuff again rapidly moving back towards the north with very heavy rain, potential for hail and very strong damaging winds. Here's our main storm. Again, we're seeing some rotation in this from the Doppler radar. I don't think that we have touched down on the ground with this storm right now, but there certainly is enough potential there for the warning sirens to be going off.
Yes.
In Belton and in Temple. Again, a tornado warning in effect now has been extended till 7:15 for a very dangerous storm, straddling I-35, making its way through the I-14 interchange there, with very heavy rains from Belton all the way back over to downtown Temple, with the very heavy rains and the potential for some large hail in that. The track on that is going to continue. It's back towards the northeast, so across Troy into rural Falls County, Bell Falls, over towards Durango, Marlin, Chilton, Lott, Rosebud, you're very likely going to be seeing deteriorating weather conditions very shortly as these storms push on out of the south back towards the north. Jordan?
Yes, I was just letting my girlfriend know to get in that safe spot right now, because we do have, let's bring up Max 2 again, and we're going to show you those tornado warning storm. This is some broad areas of rotation. As long as it stays this way, then that's going to be good, but we are going to be having that heavy rain and that hail threat still going to be the case. And again, we have that new tornado warning storm, and I've seen photos on Twitter of a very large tornado in and around the Taylor area that is just to the east of Round Rock, and that might have been that Round Rock tornado that made its way through that Kalahari resort where we saw that video from K-View, where we saw, and we have people sheltering. There it is again, this tornado, yeah, it really gained strength maybe when it reached that Taylor area as well, and we're starting to see that storm start to move off to the north. Now the rotation has weakened, and that is the good news, but we still could be seeing some heavy rainfall associated with it. There you see it. These are still broad areas of rotation, about to cross the I-14 corridor near western sections of Belton, headed up toward Morgan's Point Resort. Also just off to the east of Salado, maybe heading towards the eastern sections of Belton and heading into possibly downtown Temple. Maybe if it crosses 35 and continues due north, we could be looking at places like West Adams Avenue could be involved, other west sections of Temple where the spare time is, near where Jimmy's Egg is in Temple as well, and also near where, let's see what else is in that area. We had some gas stations. There's a Sefco in that area. There's some auto repair shops in that area headed towards 317. They're along 317. So if this stays along 317, we could be looking more at Belton, western sections of Belton, off towards Morgan's Point Resort. And then eventually we could be looking at, depending on if this holds together, if this rotation holds together, maybe the Moody area as well in extreme southern McLennan County. So definitely something we're going to pay attention to, but if there's a right turn, we could be looking more so at Bruce Villetti off towards Troy and the Pendleton areas as well. So definitely something we're going to have to pay attention to. And let's see if we have some debris first before we get back in. It would be...
Well, while you're doing that, let's take a look at some of the video that we had. We had downtown Temple folks trying to find a safe shelter. Okay.
Oh, we don't have the video? Okay, so the video's out, but that's all right. But correlation coefficient, debris detection, we don't have anything in terms of clustered debris at this time, but so that is definitely good news, because that means we aren't seeing the threat of any imminent tornadoes, excuse me. But what I can tell you is that there are some broad areas of rotation just to the east of Salado, so around to the north of where the rest area is on 35 north and southbound. Also places just off to the west of Belton there. There you see that area of rotation. It looks like it's going to be splitting Belton and Nolanville on Interstate 14, aka US 190. So we're going to be watching this as well. And there's just a couple areas of rotation here, just the north and east of Salado. This looks like the Gerald tornado. It looks like that Gerald tornado has lifted, but there's still sufficient rotation to where that tornado warning is still in effect until 6:45 and until 7:15 as well. So we're watching this as well, and we're going to take a look and kind of zoom at the Williamson County storm as well. And so we're going to look up. We're going to zoom out at that Williamson County storm. That was the storm that looked like it was going to impact that Fort Hood radar. The Western Belt tornado, we've just been told, is going to be allowed to expire with the main circulation to the east. It's just cut off that circulation. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to likely go ahead and say that if you're along the I-35 corridor in Bell County, more than likely you are going to be in the clear in terms of tornadoes at this time. So If you're in Salado, if you're in Belton, you can go ahead and come out of your safe place at this time because this tornado warning will be allowed to expire. But if you're in Little River Academy, if you're in Bartlett, if you're heading off to the east along 190, if you're in eastern Bell County along 190, not just Little River Academy, but the Rogers area, headed back through the Buckholtz area of Milam County, you need to make sure you're still in your safe place. This is until 7:15 p.m. Central Time. Now, this means that these storms could contain a tornado. We could have some hail within about an inch and an inch and a half in diameter, so about golf ball size hail. But what we can tell you is that the tornado warning along Interstate 35, including Belton, including Salado, has been allowed to expire. And that's definitely good news. Ooh, we just saw a few flickers here at the station as well because of those stronger winds associated with that tornado. No real rotation in either storm, but we're going to be watching, especially eastern Bell County, very closely for any rotation. Andy?
Thank you, Jordan. Just to clarify, the warning, the tornado warning will be allowed to expire at 6:45. It has not been canceled yet because we're still under a very strong thunderstorm in progress there in Bell County. Let's switch over to our the Max 1 here. The Max 1, Max 2 are our two versions of our computers, weather computers. And just to give you a reflectivity, show you this storm. Look at this. Not the time to be out on I-35. Pull over and wait till this storm is passed. Very heavy rains falling both sides of I-35 on over into Falls County. We're going to start seeing some extremely heavy rain. Bell Falls in this area, you're beginning to see deteriorating weather conditions, strong gusty winds as well. Hail very likely going to show up from time to time in this stuff. Right now we're not seeing a hail core in this storm, but back down here towards Lake Belton, there could possibly be some small hail showing up in this. So again, we have the watches and warnings. Let's run down them for you. We have a tornado watch in effect for all of Central Texas. It stretches either side of I-35 west and east, from south of San Antonio all the way up to the Oklahoma state line, to the Red River, again straddling I-35 for this conglomeration of storms. This is going to be a stormy evening for us until a cold front off the Pacific Ocean swings through and puts all of this stuff over into Louisiana and away from us, which may be midnight before all the action is over. It may even be a little bit later than that before it completely clears our area. So you're looking at very heavy downpours of rain from time to time, very strong gusty winds, good likelihood of hail. Please seek shelter. This is not funny business here. We're talking about a bad storm in Bell County heading towards extreme western portions of Falls County as well. It's all rural area, but there's still farmers and ranchers in these areas, and you need to seek shelter very rapidly because not only are the winds capable of doing structural damage, the hail will as well. And again, there's always that threat of tornadic activity, and we've seen and we have tracked a storm from Round Rock through Georgetown on up into southern Bell County and finally begin to fall apart just to the south of the Temple Killeen area and Belton as well.
By the way, Andy, we just received word that the severe thunderstorm warning for Coryell, Hamilton, and McLennan, in addition to Ellis and Somervell counties, that has been allowed to be canceled. So the tornado warning, we still have that tornado warning in effect for eastern Bell County, but like I said, the tornado warning until Monday at 6:45, it does look like it will be allowed to expire. So at that time, you will be allowed to get out of your safe place, especially along that I-35 corridor. But we are watching areas east of I-35 real quick, so I can go ahead and show you guys. Go ahead and pull up Max 2 for me again so I can show you guys the latest on that. There is that area of rotation, places like Rogers, like what I just talked about. The radar site at Fort Hood is out at this time. But what I can tell you is that that system has moved well to the north, and it's about to cross US 190 at this time, east of downtown Temple. Now, the good thing about this is that the rotation looks to have weakened, and tornado looks to have lifted up, which is definitely good news, but I cannot fault the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth. They are not taking any chances with this system. So mainly northwestern sections of Milam County, as well as eastern sections of Bell County, you are involved in this warning as well. I'm going to go ahead and pull the radar back up to see where we're at in terms of where the storm is located. The rain has started to simmer down here in downtown Temple. at least that's how it's sounding. It's not like pounding on us like it was just a few minutes ago. But there you see the heaviest rainfall now in downtown Temple, just to the west of I-35. So if you're west of Interstate 35, if you're on, say, West Adams Avenue, that's this road right here. That's West Adams Avenue. Along that HK Dodge and Loop there, that's where you have the heaviest rainfall. There's a 7-Eleven there. There's an auto repair shop. There's a place for an oil change. There's a barber shop headed closer to downtown Temple where I would always go to get my hair cut. Those areas have the heaviest rainfall. And also heading back towards 317, you have that Jimmy's Egg there. You have a Walmart. You also have other food places. There's a Whataburger in that area as well, a McDonald's, areas like that. Those are the areas that are seeing the heaviest rainfall. Could see a little bit of hail embedded in this as well. So we're definitely going to want to pay attention to that as well. And that tornado warning still is in effect until 6:45. It's going to expire in the next few minutes. And that's definitely going to be good news because that means that the rotation associated with that Gerald storm is going to weaken with this system. So that's definitely going to be good news associated with that. Now let's take a look at eastern sections of Bell County for this storm to Monday at 7:15 because we are looking and we're seeing quite a bit of lightning associated with it. Now the radar site has gone down at Fort Hood. The Fort Hood radar has gone down, but you're starting to see quite a bit of that frequent lightning, and I would not be surprised if we see a hail core even associated with this. So heaviest rainfall as of the last radar scan is along Highway 95, places like Holland, places like Bartlett, just off to the east of Academy, Little River Academy, and headed toward the Rogers area as well. And so mainly in eastern sections of Bell County, we're now focusing on because of the potential that we could be seeing a few isolated tornadoes associated with this. Now, starting to see a little bit of a kink as well, and that could cause a little bit of rotation, but I do think that a lot of the rotation has weakened, and so we're going to continue to monitor this up until 7:15 when this is expected to expire, and we could be seeing this expanded if we get a little bit more in terms of rotation. So definitely something we are going to be watching. So we have a new tornado warning. It's a continuation of the one until 7:15. So a severe thunderstorm that has a history of producing a tornado located near Holland and northeast of Granger. It's moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. Hail about golf ball size, 1.25 inches in diameter. So we're watching that. So the Little Elm has reported quarter size hail. So something we're going to be watching as well. And oh wow, here's a new scan. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, that's a hail core, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's a hail core. That's just to the north of Davila. There you see it, just to the north of there. Sorry.
It's okay. Hey, you can see a bit of a curvature of this storm as well as it's making its way through Davila on back up towards Rogers and Buckholz. We've got almost constant lightning going on, but this is indicative of a hail core, and very likely we're seeing some large hail, perhaps not grapefruit size or baseball size hail, but I certainly think we're seeing at least quarter size hail in this stuff, and very heavy downpours of rain, same rain that made its way across downtown Temple just a few minutes ago. So we had one tornado warning that we were allowed to expire, but this is a new one that has been popped up for portions of Milam County and Bell County as well. Again, that's until 7:15. We knew it was going to be a busy evening for us tonight, and it certainly is panning out for some very heavy rains. We have not gotten any rainfall totals yet in from our weather watchers, but I would certainly guess that we're looking at better than 3/4 of an inch of rain so far, and perhaps even more. There's the potential that we could see 1.5 inches in some of this stuff. Over towards Buckholz, it's starting to come down pretty good. A lot of lightning showing up. Again, our watches and warnings remain in effect. There is a tornado watch in effect. That means the conditions are there through 10 o'clock tonight for strong weather to develop across our region. And we have warnings in effect for several severe thunderstorms. And one in particular is this storm sitting here over Bell County, moving out of the Davila area and back over towards Rogers and Buckholz, moving rapidly with some very heavy downpours of rain showing up on this storm, and possibly some large hail showing up as well. Jordan?
Yes, you may have just heard my phone go off for that tornado warning. So if you're in Bell County, you probably heard that emergency alert, which we've commonly heard for Amber Alerts over the past few weeks or so. That just went off for a tornado warning, and I do want to mention that there is a very good hail core that's formed and a little bit of a hook as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that velocity vector again to see if we have any more rotation associated with this, because that's a really good hook just off to the west of the Dabilla area as well. So we're going to go ahead and get that velocity vector out, and we don't have the latest on that because it does appear that it is that radar site that is down. But we have a new tornado warning that's for northern Bell County up into McLennan, and that is until 7:30. And I don't see any rotation. And I'm trying to see if we can hear the sirens again.
But again, that doesn't mean that there's no rotation.
Right.
Because as I pointed out earlier, folks, we usually use a mosaic of the radars out of Dallas-Fort Worth, out of Austin, San Antonio, and our own Granger radar, which is very close at hand here, is right on top of us. But we're having technical problems with the Granger radar.
Yes.
All times for it to break down right here in the middle of the storm. So it is hard for us to really be able to see the rotation as well as we could. We're kind of guessing here at some of this from the overlapping of the various radar sites that they're giving us data right now. But it certainly looks like a hook is developed, and certainly there's been some rotation or a history of rotation in these storms. Now seeing that the Waco area Office of Emergency Management is setting off their sirens as well. So very strong storms making their way in through McLennan County. Let me see if I can't move Max 1 down here a little bit and show you the storms that are making their way in out just south of Waco. Are we on Max 1 or Max 2?
We're on Max 1. Max 1.
Max 1. All right, that's where
1.
we are right now. We're looking at storms making their way. Same stuff we were looking at in Temple here a couple of minutes ago. Now trekking up I-35, about to cross Highway 7, 107 there at Eddy.
Right.
They'll be making their way into Lorena, and this is the storm that we are seeing the emergency sirens being prompted for in the Waco area.
We have a couple reports of damage. It's preliminary spotter report from 6 miles east of Bartlett that trees and power lines are down. There's our phone going off again. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, also we do have a report of damage here in Temple. This is near Loop 363 and South 31st. So 2 reports of damage already as well. So definitely something we're paying attention to as well. Let's see if I can get our settings off so our phone doesn't go off like that with our emergency management beacons with that, because that's just went off like pretty uncommanded. But we'll see how we can figure that out. But yes, other than that, a lot of you guys' phones are probably going off with that same issue right now. Mainly with the storm in the Temple area, as well as in southern McLennan County. So places like Hewitt and the Waco area could be involved as well. And just off to the east of McGregor, Hewitt, Lorena, Bruceville, Eddy, where our former studios used to be, that's where we have our best chances for that tornadic supercell to make its way through. It's not on the ground. We don't know if there's any real rotation associated with it, because like Andy said, the radar site at Fort Hood is down, but we do have the Austin San Antonio radar as well as the radar in Dallas-Fort Worth, in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So it's really hard for us to tell whether or not there's rotation with this storm that's now passing through the Troy area and with that core in Eastern Falls County along Interstate 35 near our old studios in the Bruceville Eddy area.
We're getting some reports, as you mentioned earlier, just touching on it. Some damage in the Temple area near the HK Dodgen Loop in South 31st Street. That would be very close to Scott and White and that area, where it's not clear as to what the damage has been, but I would certainly think that it's wind damage. So please be mindful. Stay off the roads right now, because there's going to be debris on the roads. There's going to be debris with these storms still in progress flying around. You just don't want to deal with that. You need to stay in your safety zone for the time being. Even though the warning has been allowed to expire across portions of southern Bell County, it's still a very dangerous situation. Just because we said that the warnings have been dropped, don't jump in the car and go driving around trying to be looky-loos and do some sightseeing here, because the situation is still in progress. It's still very dangerous, and you need to stay off the roads, and you need to keep yourself out of the danger zone right now, which seems to be all of the I-35 corridor for the time being. Now, as you're looking at the radar,
Yes.
move over to the Max 1 here real quick, because I've got it in motion for us. There we go. You're looking at storms that stretch from Austin on up from Bastrop through Smithville, approaching Cameron. As you move west from that, it's still raining and coming down hard in Georgetown. This action is moving into southern Bell County. We're getting another round of very heavy rains across extreme eastern portions of Bell County on down towards Owenaville and Zapchikville, getting some very heavy rains there. We're also seeing another cell that's made its way across Stillhouse Hollow into the Harker Heights, Killeen, Nolanville area. Very heavy rains falling there. As you track further north, that stuff is making its way into Troy and Bruceville Eddy, approaching Lorena right now, and moving across the county line into McLennan County, which is Waco's county. So you have a dangerous situation setting up there. Now, I turn your attention a little further to the left. We've got more storms blowing up along that dry line out there, and you can see them stretching from Lampasas to Gatesville on up into Meridian and Clifton and to Hillsboro. We're seeing very strong heavy rains falling there. It's almost a training effect, so we're getting some flooding problems, I'm sure. I know with the storms moving along I-35, spots like Troy, where that underpass is, and floods so easily, you've got some flooding problems going on there. So let me say once again, stay home, stay off the roads for the time being, because it's a very dangerous situation, and it is not wrapping up. Yes, we saw some rotation, some broad rotation, and possible tornadic activity across Williamson County, make its way into Bell County near Holland. Broad rotation from that now has signaled at least a lessening of the danger there, but that doesn't mean the storm is over with. It just means that the storm has kind of lost a little bit of its punch. It is still holding together, so we still have a tornado warning in effect for those adjacent portions of Bell County, Falls County, and Milam County for the storm that is moving through Lott and Rosebud, Chilton, and making its way in a beeline for Marlin at this hour, with some very heavy rains and strong gusty winds and large hail as well. So bring you up to date. We have tornado warning in effect for portions of Bell County, Milam County, not quite into Falls County yet, but there certainly is the area until 7:15 where we have a tornado warning in effect. We've also got another tornado warning for portions of northern Bell County into McLennan County and Falls County, which is taking that storm right up to Mart there. And that one's in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. Severe thunderstorms in progress across all of central Texas. We have tornadic activity, or at least potential for tornadic activity, still right in the core of the 6 News viewing area from the Temple Killeen, Waco area. Reports of circulation and even some tornadic activity while these storms were down south near the Williamson and Bell County line. So it's not over with. We've got some very heavy rains and very strong gusty winds, and a good likelihood of some hail showing of this stuff too.
So also, when we're talking about damage, if you can safely do so, make sure you take photos of damage and send it to our Near Me feature on the 6 News Weather app. You click on the 6 News app, you click on the Near Me feature, and you make sure that you upload your video, give it a title, give it a brief description, tell us what you saw, whether it be a picture, whether it be a video or whatever. And if you click on submit, and once you see the word success, you see that area, that icon that says success, it says that you have reached 6 News with that, and that particular photo has reached us. So that is a way you can report to us your damage, and we can go ahead and at that point report it to the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth, Dallas. But as Andy was talking about, there is those 2 areas of thunderstorms, and we're starting to see a good hook over portions of eastern sections of Bell County, off into northwestern Milan County. So places like the Buckholz area, they're probably getting pounded by that heavy rain right now. Also, like Andy just talked about, the Rosebud Lot area, starting to see some of that heavier rainfall as well. In and around the Troy area, off toward Bruceville Eddy, where our former studios used to be, in and around the Bruceville Eddy area, that's where we're starting to see some of that thunderstorm activity as well. And then it's about to extend off into places such as Lorena. And we're going to go ahead and zoom this in for you. Andy, you had something?
Yeah, the Weather Service is saying they're just about to issue a new tornado warning for Milam County near Elgin. Now, this is near Smithville. We're talking about down towards the Austin area. We're seeing a pretty good, nasty storm there that's pushing north along Highway 95, and that originated down around Elgin and Taylor, now making its way into Milam County. So they're talking about issuing a tornado warning for that storm as well.
Yes, and I do see that as well. It's for the Rockdale area. That's along US 190, US 79. That's where 77, 190, and 79 intersect. So it's that area that is going to be under the new tornado warning. It looks to be it's coming for, it's going to be until 7:45. It's a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, so it's not one on the ground as of yet, but we're going to be watching this for southern sections of Milam.
And as Jordan was saying, we'd love to get your photographs and video for that matter, but don't go out in the storm right now to do it. Wait until it's safe to go out, please. Now, I want you, as we're looking at Max 1 here, can we go to Max 1 real quick?
Yes,
a little wider look here. This is in motion. And I want you to kind of look at some of these cells and how they seem to move, and then something happens and one sits behind and then it disappears. That is the composite of the two radars that we're seeing from the Dallas-Fort Worth area and from the Austin-San Antonio area. They're not quite in sync. If we had our Granger radar, which is out of whack right now, we would be able to smooth that out. So this is one of the challenges that we have as weather forecasters is which one of these echoes do we believe? So bear with us. We're trying to keep you on top of what's going on here. It still looks like some dry air trying to work its way into these storms down around Rogers. I hate to call it a hook echo, but that's kind of what it looks like. But what it is dry air trying to push into the rotation that we're seeing there.
Yeah, I've got it here on Max 2. I've got it zoomed in here on Max 2. There you see it. Just to the west of Buckholz, that looks like a hail core right there.
Does.
That area in the pink, just to the south of Buckholz there, and just to the north and west of DeVille. It's about to cross 190. So if you're on 190 between Academy and Cameron, you need to make sure that you are pulled over and into a sturdy structure, maybe either in Buckholz or maybe either in the Rogers area as well. So you want to make sure that you are off the roads and in a sturdy structure in an interior room, especially with this tornado warning. And we're going to need to go ahead and take a look at that velocity to see if there's any couplet there, because that looks like a really good hook that's forming over portions of Bell and Milam counties near the Bell-Milam County line. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom in here and we're going to see if we have some of that as well. And we're going to show you that velocity right now. Wait, looks like that radar site being down kind of did a number on our chances of showing you velocity, but what I can tell you is that the threat is still there, that there is possible, based on the reflectivity that we have. And I'm going to show it to you right here, and we're going to go ahead and load this up again and kind of show it to you just off and along that 190 corridor. There, I'm going to show it to you. This little kink right around here. That is where you start to see a little bit of that rotation associated with these thunderstorms. Now, these tornadoes could be rain wrapped too, so you're going to want to pay attention and make sure you're in your safe place. Don't take pictures of the tornado because this is rain wrapped. It's going to be hard to see. You may not know what direction it's coming. It could end up coming right at you. So you want to make sure that you are in your safe place and not outside taking pictures, because that's a nice little kink that we're starting to see, a nice little hook echo over portions of eastern Bell County. It's just off to the east of Rogers, and it's making a northeasterly turn. So we could be looking at places such as Marlin, Rosebud, Lots could be seeing something as well. Andy, you have anything?
Yeah, let's switch over to Max 1 because the stuff down across Bell and Falls County is not the only game in town. We're also watching another band of showers that are making its way across western McLennan County, Bosque County, and into Hill County. Some pretty rough looking stuff that is making its way over Highway 6 there near Valley Mills and now making its way over towards Laguna Shores and Lake Whitney. We're seeing some hail core showing up in several of these. It doesn't last very long, but certainly some very dangerous storms there in the Whitney and Hillsborough area. Stuff is stretching from near Crawford all the way up to the Y north of Hillsborough on the I-35 east and west break there. Again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for these storms across McLennan and Hill and Bosque counties. We've also got tornadic activity going on a little further south. Where we have tornado warnings in effect for portions of Bell County, Milam County, and storms now pushing into Falls County as well, with very heavy rain being reported in Rosebud, Lott, and Travis getting hit very, very heavy, and stretching all the way up to Marlin and
Chilton area.
Chilton and really north of Marlin, heading back over towards Ben Hur. That area stretching between Marlin and Groesbeck. Very rural area, but still some very heavy rain. We don't want to see any tornadic activity anywhere there, but certainly a history of tornadoes with these storms and plenty of circulation hail and very heavy rain and strong winds embedded in all of this stuff.
Yes, and we do have, I'm going to switch over to Max 2 again because we've got quite a bit of lightning in and around the Lorena, Bruceville, Eddy area on Interstate 35. So we're looking more towards southern sections of McLennan County where we're starting to see that storm that had produced that tornado in and around the Gerald area. Starting to see a little bit of what looks like possible rotation. We can't really tell again because the radar site for Fort Hood is down near the Granger area of Williamson County. But it could be headed to the Waco area within the next few minutes. So if you're in Waco, you're going to need to watch this closely. It could be expanded, but we don't really know the extent of the rotation at this particular time. But this is not part of a storm, but we've got some heavy rain in just to the south of Clifton, and that looks like a good hail core in southern Bosque County as well. So we could be seeing quite a bit of hail reports in addition to tornado reports. And there you see that tornado warning storm. We don't know yet. There's no word yet on whether or not this will be expanded or whether into Falls County, including the Rosebud area. So Rosebud, I would be on standby. But at this point, we've got some weaker thunderstorms over the Georgetown, Gerald, and the Salado areas. So we're not sure yet if we can warn any of these, if the National Weather Service can warn any of these. But we do have those tornado warnings in northern Bell County through Falls and southern McLennan County and eastern sections of Bell County into northwestern Milam County, so just to the north and west of Cameron. I do think this storm is going to miss you guys in Cameron proper, but we are going to watch Rosebud. Rosebud, you could be seeing some heavy rain and lightning and maybe even some small hail and gusty winds, no matter how you slice it. But whether or not this will be a tornado warned storm or a severe thunderstorm warned storm is going to be up in the air, and we're still waiting on word from the National Weather Service on whether this tornado warning or the one in northern Bell off towards southern McLennan will be expanded. If it does, the Waco proper, you will need to be taking cover. Also, we could be looking at places just off to the east of Elmont as well. The Hallsburg area, the Riesel area could be seeing some of it as well. Maybe even extreme southern sections of Hill County could be included in any warning that does expand as well. Places like Mount Calm and around the west area. Whitney, you guys are in that severe thunderstorm warning off toward the interstate, the split in Hillsborough toward Interstate 35 west, along US Highway 81 near the Itasca area, about to approach the Carl's Corner area as well. So definitely something we're going to be watching throughout these next few minutes here, because we've got not just these two tornado warning storms, we do have that third tornado warning storm that's in southern Milam County down toward the Rockdale area, but we're focused on northern, southern McLennan, and eastern Bell County and western Milam.
Well, we've had a new thunderstorm warning issued for Bosque, Hill, McLennan, and Navarro counties until 8 o'clock for those storms that we're looking at there moving through Bosque County between Clifton and Valley Mills and heading in the general direction of Hillsboro. So certainly not settling down at all. We're not seeing the tornadic activity or rotation as much now. We can thank maybe the lowering of the sun's angle, but at the same time, remember we have a dry line approaching us from out west, and that's where the extreme sharp contrast in the air masses is. We're very moist. I'm sure you noticed how humid it was yesterday afternoon and this evening and this morning. Very dry air out to the west of us behind the Pacific front coming in. So there's a very sharp contrast. Certainly gives plenty of lift to that warm, moist air. And anytime you start lifting warm, moist air, it becomes very unstable, and that's what's going on here. So the situation is very volatile, and it's going to stay volatile for another couple of hours across much of the I-35 corridor until this dry line, the front itself, pushes through and moves all the moisture off towards the east in the form of the cool front.
Yes.
It's a Pacific front, so we're not looking for a drastic drop in temperatures, but there will be a change of air masses, and it's pulling in dry air from off the mountains, off the interior of the continent. So there's going to be a couple of days of lots of sunshine for us, but
yes,
it's not going to be tonight. This is a very stormy night for us. Now, as you're looking at look at Max 1 here real
Max
quick.
1, yes.
You'll see still looking at storms out across Coryell County and into Bosque County, and some stragglers still hanging around over there, extreme eastern portions of Falls County and now McLennan County around Galinda and to Waco and Robinson, that area, and all over towards Mart. We've got a nice little cell there. But the thing is, they're not as strong as they were earlier. Now, just having said that, look at that storm just to the right-hand side of Clifton, right there. Some small hail core showing up in that deep, dark red echo in the middle of that storm, just as it crosses the county line into into Hill County and making its way towards the river and Laguna Shores and Lake Whitney there.
Okay, so I can tell you guys also that the National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Bell County for the northern section of Bell County. So I think Temple proper and the Troy area, you guys are all clear. But we are watching eastern Bell still because we're going to try and see if we can see the National Weather Service office is trying to make a decision soon on that particular cell, so they're trying to figure that out as well. And so we have some counties that have been canceled from the
have been cleared from the watches. Comanche's dropped from it. Hamilton has dropped from the tornado watch. Of course, these are your western counties, and that's what I was just talking about. Out to the west, they're going to get cleared as the dry line of the front come through. So Comanche, you're in the clear. Hamilton County, you're in the clear. Mills County, that's Goldthwaite and vicinity, you're in the clear. The tornado watch continues and this is the watch, not the warning. This is the watch. That means the conditions are still ripe. Still in effect for Bell and Bosque, Coryell counties, Falls County, Freestone, Lampasas, Limestone, Leon. We really haven't paid a whole lot of attention to what's going on I-45. It has not been that bad so far. They're getting some moderate rains. Were we on Max 1? Yeah. They're around Buffalo. Moderate little shower going on there, and more of it on the way for you. The biggest action we've been watching is over here west of I-35, like we knew it would be. But the biggest threat from the Severe Storms Forecast Center was putting the largest risk of severe weather between the interstates this afternoon and this evening. We're certainly seeing that come true tonight, with storms now making their way on a beeline towards Rockdale. So severe thunderstorms spawning the potential for tornadic activity. We have tornado warning in effect for the Rockdale area and that portion of Cameron County until 7:15. Pretty strong little storm there. If you can see it just to the left of Lexington.
issued a tornado warning for Bell and Falls and Milam counties. They've extended the one for northeastern Bell into Falls and Milam, so that's going to be until 8 o'clock. And once that storm leaves Bell County, I imagine Bell will get dropped from this warning as well.
Yeah.
But we're going to be watching, so pretty much if you're in Bell County at this point, we can go ahead and give you the all clear unless you're in that extreme eastern part just to the north and east of Rogers and off to the north of US 190 and around the Buckholz and the Buckholz into the areas north to the east of Rogers and to the south and east of Texas Highway 53. It looks like if you are in Rosebud, you need to make sure you are in your safe spot right now. And this does include the Marlin area. So you want to make sure if you're in the Marlin area, you're watching this closely and making sure you're in your safe spot as well. So Rosebud lot as well as Marlin, make sure that you are in your safe spot with this storm. This is on max 2, by the way. I'm showing where the system is on max 2. There it is. The Rosebud lot area as well as Marlin, that's in the new warning. That's until 8 o'clock. And we imagine this tornado warning will expire within these next couple of minutes for Eastern Bell, as well as all of Bell County's warnings. We should expect that to expire within the next couple of minutes. And then once this system moves out of Bell County, then Bell County should be in the clear. And it will be safe to come out of your safe spot. But we saw some photo from an anchor at our sister station that she tweeted out in the Austin area of some pretty considerable damage in and around the Round Rock area. So Crystal, if it's possible, you could, if you're able to get that on air for us, we can definitely show you guys, because that was a very dangerous situation in the Round Rock area in southern sections of Williamson County, although not technically in our viewing area, something to pay attention to, which is why we tell you these things about staying in your safe spot, making sure that you have as many walls between you and the outside world as possible, and you're in the lowest level of your home and not in a mobile home. So definitely a lot to pay attention to, because we do have still these eastern zones to go. Places like Groesbeck, places like Franklin, Hearn in Robertson County, up toward Corsicana, Fairfield, Centerville, still in that warm sector. Like Andy said, that dry sector now enveloping portions of Mills, Hamilton, Comanche, Brown, San Saba, Lampasas counties. Maybe even Coryell County could be dropped from this tornado watch in the next little bit as well. But we're watching and paying attention to as well. So.
Well, I'm looking here on Max 1 across the southern portions of Milam County. You can see Thorndale, which is right on the county line. And let me move this a little bit so you can, there's Rockdale there. Hail producer, certainly looks like it. There is a tornado warning for this one. Seems to be showing a little bit of tightening rotation coming in off the Austin San Antonio radar. Please be on your toes there across the rural portions of Milam County as well. There's Lexington, so you're getting down into Lee County as well with moderate to heavy rain. Let me back out a little bit on that. And again, this is widespread rain from the Austin area stretching over to just north of LaGrange to near Giddings on Highway 290, then up towards Lexington and into the Rockdale and Cameron area. Very dangerous weather situation. We have a tornado warning in effect for this area, as well as some very strong thunderstorms in progress. And it continues pushing back towards the north and pretty rapidly. The radar is indicating forward motion of these storms as much as 40 miles an hour. Large hail, very heavy downpours of rain, and in some cases these storms are tracking over the footprint of previous storms. It's what we call training, because they're just like boxcars on a train track, one right after another. Well, that training dumps rain on top of areas that have already gotten a lot of rain. So that's where we run into some flooding problems pretty easily, and that's certainly happening. We saw it begin early this afternoon, and some storms that were stretching from just to the east of Milam County all the way up to Corsicana, which meant they were dropping a considerable amount of water on Falls County in and around Marlin, on up towards Rosebeck and Thornton in that area, and then up towards Mahia. Wortham was reporting street flooding earlier this afternoon. These are the kind of things that we're anticipating for the areas in the path of these storms that are moving through right now.
Yes.
Again, we've had several of these supercell storms showing rotation. We had tornadic activity touching down in the Rockdale and Georgetown area. We showed you video of that earlier, actual tornadoes. Plenty of damage, not only from the tornadic circulation, but from the very strong winds that are associated with these storms too.
Yes, and I'm seeing a good hook on our max too, just to the east of Waco. There you see it. That looks like a very strong hook, so that could start to see a storm start to rotate just a little bit and rain to. Now, I do want to tell you, it's making an eastward hook rather than a westward hook, so something to pay attention to there, but still a hook nonetheless, and it's possible that that hook echo could be, that hook could mainly be right in here. We can't really tell again because the Fort Hood radar site is down just to the south and west of Hallsburg and just to the north and west of Riesel. That's where we're starting to see a lot of that strong thunderstorm activity, and we're starting to see a little bit of that rotation as well. And the heaviest rain does look to be the east of I-35. And let me go ahead and clear this out for you because there are a lot of places, especially east of I-35. It's just off to the east of the Richland Mall in Waco. It's just to the south of, let's see what streets this is affecting. It's affecting the 360 Loop, Interstate 77, just to the east of Valley Mills Drive, just to the east of where the Top Golf is, the new main event that's going to be opening pretty soon. That's where it is. And we're going to see if we can get down to further street level. We don't really have that apparently, but places like Robinson, that's where they're starting to see some of that heavier rainfall as well. Just off to the west of Downsville, mainly in and around the Rosenthal area, just to the west of the Asa area, and just off to the north of Galinda. That's where we're starting to see a lot of that thunderstorm activity as well. And there you see it, quite a bit of lightning in and around the Wardlaw area and off toward East Waco, and then off to the south and east of Belmead. So within the next few minutes, places like Belmead, places like Axtell, places like Lacey Lakeview and Elmont could be seeing that thunderstorm activity as well.
Elk will be getting rain and hail as well as strong gusty winds. Elk.
Yes. Elk, yes, them as well. The areas just off to the west of Hewitt, just to the west, off to the east of Hewitt, excuse me. We're starting to see that tornado warning. It should be dropping from Bell County shortly, but we do have this tornado warning still also for, this is going to be for Falls County, this is Falls County, northern sections of Milam County. Looks like a lot of that thunderstorm activity has left Bell County. A lot of that tornadic activity has left Bell County, but there you see another area of thunderstorms just to the south and east of Belton. So not quite safe yet, but also another cell just to the south and west of Killeen along Interstate 195 and the Central Texas Expressway. That's where we're starting to see it as well. Just to the west of the Stan Schluter Loop in Killeen as well, and just off to the east of Texas Highway 201, and just off to the south and east of KB Heights, the Chaffee Village, and southwest of Killeen, and along Texas Highway 195, and it just passed through you guys and around the Maxdale area in southwestern Bell.
Let's go back over to Max 1 here real quick, and I've kind of broadened our view here just to give you a little ray of hope. Clear skies out west. From Delano and Burnett points westward, San Saba starting to see an end of the rain. Cloud cover is beginning to break there as well. Improvement in weather conditions, not too terribly far away. We still got an hour and a half or so, depending on where you are, because if you're on I-45 or in the Brazos Valley, conditions are just now starting to go downhill for you as the latest line of storms is continuing its trek back towards the east and the northeast, and new development is showing up along this frontal boundary, our dry line, if you will, just to the south of us. Look at these storms. Again, we have reason to believe that there could be tornadic activity in the storm just to the south of Rockdale. So we have a tornado warning in effect for that stretch between Lexington and Rockdale on Highway 77. go in closer on that and show you. Some hail was showing up in this a little bit earlier. Right now we're getting no hail reports, but certainly tornado-like conditions with the very heavy downpours of rain and the dense cloud cover and the very strong gusty winds to prompt the continuation of a tornado warning that's in effect until another 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes there for Milam County. Not only are we watching the storm in Milam County, but we've got all kinds of action going on up towards Lake Whitney as well. We'll pull out here and bring you up to Waco and to Hallsburg, and you see another big cluster of storms, north and south oriented, moving out of the southwest back towards the northeast, right along that dry line frontal boundary, and producing some very, very brief but very heavy downpours of rain, lots of vivid lightning, very strong gusty winds, and occasionally some little pockets of hail in that. So we're certainly not out of the woods on any of this stuff, but we continue to watch it very closely. Looking at the chat room where we were looking just a moment ago, as I was telling you, down here across Milam County, we had confirmation of a tornado. Southern Milam County passing just north of the Tanglewood area. Remember, we were talking just about that a second ago. Near Lexington on Highway 77, seeing the very heavy rains and downpours of that. We're getting some confirmation from these storms, and this is the one we're talking about right in that area. South of Rockdale on 77, that we had confirmation of a tornado ongoing, passing just to the north of the Tanglewood area. So please stay in a safe place. Stay away from windows. If you're in that portion of Milam County, please be advised that it's a very dangerous situation. We have a tornado warning for that storm continuing for, again, another 20-25 minutes or so until this storm is passed on out. Just south of that, you have another storm that's making a beeline across Giddings right now, just to the south of Lexington. More storms back here upstream near Austin and Bastrop, Smithville, that want to take straight towards Lexington. So you folks in Milam County and on down into Lee County and over towards Fayette County, be mindful that the weather conditions are going to deteriorate pretty rapidly. Look how dense the thunderstorm activity is here along 77 south of Rockdale, between Rockdale and Lexington. This is the one that we were talking about just now. I'll go in a little closer on that, see if we can see any of the rotation. This is the storm that they are warning for, confirmed tornado right there in this storm right here. And you can see a little bit of that hook showing up there at the very bottom of the screen. Rain shrouded, I would imagine, because it's a very heavy downpour of rain right there.
Yes, and it's moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So we're going to zoom in on that. Let's see, I think Bell County looks like, no, there's still, this graphic still shows it. But yes, we do have that system for, this is for Falls County. This is right on top of Rosebud, and it could be rain wraps. So if you are in the Rosebud area, you need to make sure that you are taking cover immediately with this storm. And that's definitely something you want to pay attention to, because let me tell you something. It's been hard to tell of late because we have that radar site that's down, but it doesn't look like we have that velocity vector at this time. Or wait, there is the velocity vector, but the velocity, of course, is with the Fort Hood radar that is currently down. So we can't really show you our velocity vector, and worst possible day for it to go down, in our opinion. But I can show you Rosebud. This is in Falls County. This is until 8 o'clock tonight. And this is for an area along Highway 77 there, and that's where we're seeing that area of rotation. And we have a confirmed tornado on the ground near the Rosebud area. So if you are in Rosebud, you're in the Rosebud lot area along Highway 77, you are going to need to get in your safe place like right now. Make sure it is in an interior room, lowest level of your home, away from windows, have as many walls between you and outside as possible. And if you are in a mobile home, please listen, get out of that mobile home, find a sturdy structure, and make sure that you're in that interior room like I described. If you are unable to find a sturdy structure, if you are stuck outside in the woods, find a ditch. Make sure you take a duck and cover position. Make sure you're in a crouching tiger, hidden dragon, like I like to call it. So kind of go like this with your head over your hands, kind of like this. That way you can protect yourself from that flying debris as well. So definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to with this storm. And we're going to zoom in. And Andy, you have something?
Yeah, we've just had a new tornado warning issued for Hill, Limestone, and McLennan County. Hallsburg on Highway 6 there. You seem to be at the center of this action going on, or very close to it. We're indicating, radar is indicating circulation about 8 miles southeast of Belmead, which would be very close to the Brazos River, moving towards the northeast at around 40 miles an hour. Again, hail to the size of an inch in diameter, and very likely you're seeing winds in excess of 40 miles an hour. So a new tornado warning has just been issued that will run until 8:15 for another storm.
Yes, so we are definitely in no way out of the woods yet. That's just an important reminder there. But yes, back on this Rosebud storm, because this rotation, we can't really show you with the radar site at Fort Hood down what the rotation is looking like in and around the Rosebud area. But I can show you that it is along Interstate 77 as we speak, and also on another highway off to the east and off to the west of us that kind of links from Central Avenue and Adams Avenue here in Temple all the way to Rosebud. And we're going to zoom in a little bit closer to see exactly which highway we're talking about here. That looks like Highway 53. That's near the Zipperlinville area and just off through the Rosebud area, just to the south of Travis. It's approaching the Wilderville area as well as the High Bank and Reagan area. So if you're in any of these areas in Falls County, also Marlin proper, you're involved in this as well, you could need to get into your safe place. Actually, you do need to get into your safe place right now as we speak. This graphic still has not shown that the warnings for Bell have expired, but they have been allowed to expire at this particular point. So something we're going to continue to watch. Andy?
We're getting confirmation on the funnel cloud down near Wilderville and Rosebud. They're right on the Brazos River. So we've got some very dangerous weather making its way through extreme southeastern portions of Falls County and the adjacent areas of Milam County as well, right along the Brazos River. The whole area is getting caught with storms.
Yes, so the Rosebud storm, we are looking at this storm here. This is for Milam County. It's moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So we're going to do this the best we can. We're going to put a tracker up the best we can here, given the situation. So I'm going to start from the center of this storm and make a northeasterly track at around 35 miles an hour. And we should have it right here. Here we go. So at 7:45, we're looking at the High Bank area, the McLennan area just after 8 o'clock, and the Thornton area just before 8:30, and the Cossie area just prior to that. So if you're in any of these areas that are in this cone, you're going to want to make sure that you're in your safe place at this time, and do not come out until we give you the all clear, because this is a very dangerous situation. This storm has had a history of producing tornadoes. If you were watching earlier this evening, that's where we had that storm in Round Rock. That was caught on our sister station KVU's camera on top of that Kalahari resort, and then it moved through Round Rock and through northeastern sections of Williamson. This storm lifted, the tornado lifted cutting through Bell, but now it appears to have dropped another tornado in and around the Rosebud area. So if you're in the Rosebud area or just to the south of there, apparently, according to what this radar is indicating, you need to make sure you're in your safe place now. So places like High Bank, Reagan, Yeah, now we have video of Kalahari. We're going to go ahead and pull that up for you real quick. There it is. Oh my, look at that. That is a very strong, this is outside of the Kalahari Resort. This is in Round Rock, which is just to the north of Austin. That is a very intense tornado that looks to have passed through, and you're starting to hear rain outside of our studio as well. That's a separate cell that's not been warned, and I doubt it's going to be warned, but it could expand and it could become warned. So something to pay attention to as you head throughout the course of your evening. Make sure that you are in your safe place, especially in that Rosebud area. So that's what I'm talking about. That's that storm that produced that tornado in Round Rock. That looks like a very strong tornado as well. And so that storm is going to move off to the northeast at 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, and could reach the McLennan area just after 8 o'clock and the Kasi area just after 8:11. So if you're in any of those areas, you want to make sure you are in your safe place, lowest level of your home. Make sure that you have as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. Make sure that you are out of your mobile home and into a safe and sturdy shelter. And if you cannot find a safe and sturdy shelter outside of your mobile home anywhere, or if you are outside, period, make sure you find a ditch. Make sure you get down in a fetal position. Make sure you have your hand over your heads to make sure to protect your head from flying debris. Another thing, too, that I think is going to be important to note is that if you have a bicycle helmet, if you have a football helmet, if you have a baseball helmet, you may want to put that on as you're in your safe place as well. Maybe cover yourself with a mattress to protect yourself from flying debris as well.
Let's go back over to the Max 1 here real quick. Confirmation now, tornado warning is extended for the area you're looking at around Milam County and southern portions of Falls County there until 8 o'clock, excuse me. Storm very capable of producing a tornado, has been producing some inch-sized hail. The area we're talking about is near Rosebud, as you heard Jordan talking about, and the tracker on this is going to take it towards Reagan, Stranger, Blue Ridge, Thornton, Kasi, Groesbeck, Mahia, within the next 45 minutes or so. So if you have still not found a safe place, find it now, because this storm is certainly making its way in your direction. Again, it right now is located near Rosebud, but it is on a trajectory that's going to take it through the rural portions of Falls County into Limestone County, and making a straight line, it looks like, for Thornton, Kasi, and Groesbeck over the next half hour to 45 minutes or so. So again, we want to remind you, tornado warning is in effect for that storm until 8 o'clock this evening.
Yes, and there looks like a separate tornado warning for Milam until 7:45. Radar is still indicated, but hail is less than 3/4 of an inch, so the hail threat's starting to diminish as well, so something to pay attention to as well. But there is that storm over the Rosebud area, could be reaching the Kasi area within the next 45 minutes or so, and Thornton within the hour as well in southern sections of Limestone County. And let's go ahead and we're going to zoom this out, and we're going to clear everything out here, because this is going to be important, because we have another storm that's in and around the Mount Calm area that we're going to need to pay attention to as well.
So Hubbard is in the path of that one as well.
Yes, Hubbard, that's just off to the west of Mart. The rotation looks like it's just to the south of Hallsburg, but it's hard to tell with our radars down. And yes, Hubbard, yes, absolutely Hubbard, near that corner of where Hill and Ellis County meet there along Texas Highway 31. That's where we're watching the Mount Calm area of Hill County, extreme southeastern Hill County, just off to the east of Leroy there. And it looks like west may have dodged one, but look at Hillsboro. This is the severe thunderstorm warning storm. Look at that hail core about to pass right into Hillsboro proper, that pink area. You see that pink shaded area just to the north of Hillsboro along US Highway 81 and Texas Highway 77. That's where that hail core is, in downtown Hillsboro. So if you're in downtown Hillsboro, make sure you are in a safe place as well. We don't have a tornado warning on this. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, but still the threat for large hail exists with this particular storm. So definitely something to pay attention to over these next few minutes. Andy?
Yeah, I'm just reading, we've got some structural damage, it looks like, near Buckholz.
Yes.
The Bell County, Milam County line as well. From the very strong winds that we had moving through there just minutes ago. Still tracking these same storms. We're over on Max 1 here, and very volatile area there between Waco and Corsicana on Highway 31, as Jordan was talking about. You've got Mount Calm, you've got Hubbard there. As you get closer to Corsicana, you're in the Mahia vicinity as well. Tawakoni getting some very heavy rains and strong gusty winds, and some rotation is showing up on a couple of these storms down near Mart and Axtell. They're the ones right here at the very bottom of your screen, crossing Highway 84 there. Some pea-sized hail, winds better than 50 miles an hour in that storm. We've also got pea hail showing up to the west of I-35 between Clifton and West, moving in the general direction of Laguna Shores and Lake Whitney there. And that line is just about on top of Hillsboro at this moment. We'll put the tracker on this storm over here just to the northeast of Waco, and that one is the one that's setting. It's going to produce some very heavy rain and winds for Hubbard as well, but making a trek towards Dawson, Dresden, Oak Valley, and Corsicana over the next half hour, 30 minutes or so.
Okay, so we have another tornado warning that's been issued about 10 minutes ago. That was for northern Burleson County. That's in the Brazos Valley. That's for that Rockdale County storm as well. That's moving a little northeast at 35 miles an hour. So that's the same storm that passed over. That's that Round Rock storm as well. That's that Round Rock thunderstorm that created that tornado. And we're going to put the tracker on this because this is going to be important as well. And it's going to pass through the Gauls area at 8:12, the Aston area at 8:19, the Hearn area just prior to 8:30 over in Robertson County. So something to pay attention to. This is mainly going to stay in Milam and Robertson counties, but the National Weather Service office in Houston not taking chances, and that storm is going to, that's why they have issued the tornado warning for northern sections of Burleson County in the Brazos Valley.
Go to Max 1 here real quick. I want to show you the extent of this activity. You're looking up I-35 towards Dallas, and it keeps on going. It goes through the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, goes into Oklahoma. It's out of the tornado watch box there, but it's still storming across extreme eastern portions of Oklahoma right now, and continues southward all the way back down to just south of the Austin area to near Gonzales and Seguin. And more activity going on in South Texas. It's coming up the coast and heading that way as well. For us, we are under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. That means the party's not over until then. We could still see activity going on. Good news is the Weather Service is telling us now they have techs out at the Granger radar site, so we may start seeing some fresh data coming in and filling in some of the blanks here, making this a smoother picture and an easier forecast for us to make. Yeah,
and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and see if the velocity vectors in that particular situation have come back online yet. We are looking, I'm going to move to the Rockdale storm here. We're going to try and see if the velocity's back. We do start to see some of it back. That's definitely good news. And the velocity, the rotation looks a little broad in nature, but it looks like it's on that corner between Lee County, Burleson County, and Milam County. So that's where that little area, that red ball is. And we have that radar back, which is definitely good, and that's going to be important. It's going to be really helpful for us as well. Let's see if we can get that Dallas radar here. Yeah, there's a broad area of rotation just to the north of Mart. And see if we could zoom into it. Yeah, it's just in the outer fringes of the Dallas-Fort Worth radar now. It's some broad area of rotation just to the north of Mart, some lighter green, showing that this storm wants to rotate. And that could be what could create that tornado warning. Now this is starting to head to exit McLennan County and move into northwestern sections of Limestone County. So around the Prairie Hill area, you may want to get in your safe spot there along US 84 in Limestone County, off back toward Mejia as well. But this light green shows a very weak rotation starting to try to bubble up. So we're going to be paying attention to this storm as well, in addition to the Milam County storm. And that could be the storm that could drop another tornado, because that has had a history of producing a really strong tornado. I mean, that Round Rock, if you saw a video earlier this evening from Round Rock, that looks like a very strong tornado outside of that Kalahari resort in Round Rock. Andy, do you have anything?
Well, we've got a new warning that had just been issued for a storm sitting down on Milam and Lee County line, just to the north of Giddings here. Tornado warning for that one. Just beginning to see what could be a little bit of rotation on that one. This storm very likely is going to affect Burleson County and Robertson County, which is Calvert and Hearn, and the Somerville and Lake Somerville areas here very rapidly. And Max 1 is showing you right where the storm is sitting, right? It just, the southern edge of it is Giddings, and it stretches back towards the north and northeast for about 50 miles there, with some very broad rotation showing up in this storm. Not seeing any hail in it right now, but that doesn't mean we can't have some small hail showing up in it. And yeah, the picture's gotten a little better for us since the techs are down working on the Granger radar. I'm not sure that it is 100% yet, but
we
it's
have our velocity vector back at least
Good.
on Max 2. So that's definitely good news in that regard. So that's very important that we have that velocity vector to show you what rotation areas. And speaking of that rotation in the Giddings area, yes, that does look like a broad area of rotation along US 290, heading closer to the Austin area and the Lee, in portions of Lee, as well as southern sections of Burleson County along Texas Highway 36. We're going to be watching for that to see if it holds together through there. But again, we're looking at this northern section of Burleson County into southern sections of Milam, and then back towards the Gauze area as well, to see if this storm does in fact hold together, because this is the storm right here over portions of Milam, Lee, and Burleson County. That has the history of that strong tornado over the Round Rock area at that Kalahari resort. So this is definitely a very dangerous storm that could still be dropping a tornado at any moment. The rotation's broad, and that's good news. But if that rotation starts to tighten up, if we get that light green and light red couplet coming up here, that's where we start to get concerned, because that could mean a tornado could be dropping at any moment. So that's why the National Weather Service offices in Fort Worth, as well as the Houston in the case of Burleson County, that's why they haven't taken any chances and have kept this tornado warning, because that rotation's still there and they don't want to risk downplaying the potential for a dangerous tornado to drop. It's now passed just to the east of US 77 and still staying to the south of US 79 at this time, but we do expect to cross it. And when that happens, it could be the Milano area that could be seeing that tornadic cell make its way through. So if you're in the Milano area, make sure you're taking cover as well, and then off towards Gauze, and then eventually I would say Hearn, Franklin, over in portions of Robertson County. We're going to be watching this throughout the course of the evening. Andy?
Yeah, watch it real close. This storm, the one you're talking about, is there just to the south of Rockdale. Certainly seeing some rotation of that storm. We've got reports of pea-sized hail in the storm right now. Again, a tornado warning in effect. This is Milam County here. Here's Rockdale. There's Thrall, Bartlett along Highway 95 there. Highway 77 coming right down through the middle, and Highway 190 is what you see there. Heavy rains, considerable lightning still going on across the region, and very strong gusty winds. And there certainly seems to be some broad rotation showing up here south of Rockdale, down near the Lee County line. For perspective, there's Caldwell, Hearn here. This storm is fortunately we're being blessed that most of this activity is in rural areas, but that nonetheless is causing problems with structural damage in some spots, and we're getting some tree damage reports as well. Get tree damage reports, and then you start having electrical reports as well, power lines being down because of the very strong winds knocking down trees. So to recap, we have tornado warning in effect 7:45 for this storm here, as tornado watch in effect for just about all of central Texas. It stretches from I-45 to I-35 and points just to the west. We've cleared out some of our western counties because the dry line is finally making its way in. It's going to be a couple more hours before we get the all clear on this stuff. Fortunately, we've only seen a couple of reports of tornadic activity, and we've heard no reports of any fatalities, just some structural damage from all of this stuff. But it's still continuing to blow around the area. I hate to sound like a broken record, but please have a safe place that you can go to. Interior room of your house, put more and more walls between you and the winds outside. Bathrooms are good. Crouch down in a bathtub. Pull a mattress over you if you feel like there's a storm coming directly at you. But seek shelter and protect your valuables, your vehicles. Put them in the barn. Put them in the carport. Put them in the garage, because the storms are continuing and they're not slowing down here. We're seeing some slacking in the intensity, but not a lot. I mean, enough intensity still involved in this stuff that we've got to continue with the tornado warnings that are in effect. Again, here is Rockdale, very strong storm in progress there in the rural areas as it makes its way towards the northeast. It is going to be moving towards Calvert and Hearn, and that area moving across Highway 6 very shortly.
Yes, and I just received an email from a viewer who said that there was stormwater damage to his retaining wall, and it's really filled his swimming pool along the lining of his swimming pool. So we don't have a location on it yet, but what we do have is a report of that stormwater damage to the retaining wall. We don't have a location on it yet, but it just came into my email. We also have a spotter report out of Bruceville Eddy of hail that is 5 miles southeast of Bruceville Eddy in McLennan County of hail that's been reported. We don't have a diameter on it. Oh wait, never mind, we do. It's about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. And I believe we have another report that's just come in. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. It's a report of pizza that's here for if we need it. But yeah. But anyways, yes, we do have damage reported to a retaining wall. I have replied back to that viewer asking about a location, but we also have that 3/4 of an inch of hail spotted in the Bruceville Eddy area as well. So.
Now, just wanted to add that tornado warning for Burleson County and the general areas around Robertson County, Hearn, Calvert, has been extended to 8:30 now.
Yes, extended.
So we're not out of the woods yet.
Okay, yeah, so there's that as well. There's that as well. We do have that tornado warning. Yes, we do. It's for the areas just to the east of Rockdale. So Rockdale, I would say you're in the all clear at this time. However, the Milano area,
there's just too much upstream to say they're completely out of the woods. Yeah,
right.
So
I do agree. But as far as this storm is concerned, we are in the clear as far as this storm is concerned. But we do have Milano in that area along Texas Highway 36, where 36, 190, and 190 and 36 meet, and 190 makes that move off to the northwest to head towards Cameron and Temple eventually. That's where that storm is headed now, and that looks like a very good hook echo just to the south of Milano. And if it continues that northeasterly track, it's going to go right into Milano. It's going to probably cross into US 190 on top of that Milano area, and now we have that new tornado warning that's been reinforced for northern sections of Burleson County, as well as southeastern sections of Milam County. And now for this other tornado warning that is just off to the north and east of the Marlin area, we do expect that storm to be, that warning to be dropped for Bell and Milam. But so really the storm we're focusing on right now is the Rockdale storm, as well as that storm. And whoa, my, look at that. Just to the north and east of Giddings, that is a very good hook echo. And we've got a hail core as well off to the east of 77, because that looks like a very good hail core and some frequent lightning associated with it. Let's see if we can put a velocity vector on it and see if we have some good rotation associated with it, because that's going to be very important that we can see that, especially with our radar showing that. So we're going to drag it all the way down to that area just to the north and east of Giddings, and we're going to look at that velocity. Oh yes, that is very good rotation just off to the north and east of Giddings there. There you see that couplet of that light green and that area of red. That's showing a very tightening area of rotation, and that could result in a tornado being dropped at any particular moment. Now, this would be not just for Lee County, but also Burleson County as well. Just to the south of Caldwell, along Texas Highway 36, you guys are under that warning. And at this point, I would say if you are just to the north of Somerville on Texas Highway 36, you need to make sure you are in your safe place, because that looks like a tornado that could be on the ground shortly here. And we're going to have to check and see if it's been confirmed. Now, that is not a Dallas-Fort Worth County. That's a Houston National Weather Service Office county as well. It's radar indicated for Burleson, Washington. It's capable of producing a tornado, but it is not confirmed at this time. So that's good, but that rotation still looks tight. And that's definitely what could cause that tornado to eventually touch down. We got that good instability. We got that good spin in the atmosphere. You've got that green turning off to the north and west, and that red coming away from that radar site as well. So this could be another tornado that could be touching down here in just a little bit. We're going to have to wait for the Houston office or the Austin office for final confirmation of that, because it's in an Austin National Weather Service Office county in Lee County, but then it will cross into a Houston National Weather Service Office county when it crosses into Burleson.
All right, let's move back into our viewing area here and get back up towards Marlin, where we have some very heavy storms going on. Between Marlin and Centerville along Highway 7, this activity is pushing across the Brazos River and into southern portions of Hill County and Limestone County. A lot of lightning. We have a tornado warning in effect for the storm in Falls County. Now, as it moves out of Falls County and into Limestone County, we may see that tornado warning extended. Right now, I think the Weather Service is planning to allow the Falls County portion of this warning to expire at 8 o'clock. Very heavy rain. We're getting reports of pea-sized hail and winds gusting better than 45 miles an hour. That's some pretty strong winds as well. And did I mention the lightning? Almost constant lightning going on between Marlin and Marquez and up towards Groesbeck in that area. And this whole echo stretches from the Brazos River near Rosebud Lot on back up through Marlin, on up over almost to Centerville right now in Leon County. Very heavy rains. They're finally starting to get a lot of the action over on the I-45 corridor with this stuff. To recap, we've got a couple of thunderstorm warnings that will be allowed to expire here shortly, but the tornado warnings look like they're going to stay in effect across the region. One across portions of McLennan and Hill County, and another one that includes portions of Falls and Milam County still holding, plus the storms that are moving into Leon County, Marquez on up towards Buffalo, down to Centerville. Very heavy rains falling right now with no rotation showing up in this stuff. But certainly some very heavy rains, a lot of lightning. Good news is as of the 8 o'clock mark coming up here in about 5 minutes, the tornado warning for McLennan County will be allowed to expire. McLennan County is the Waco area, obviously.
Yes.
So we're getting to be in better conditions. Doesn't mean the rain's over with. Just the really bad stuff is kind of passing off towards the east. And on Max 1,
Yes.
yeah, there we go, Max 1. You can see if we look over towards the left side of the screen, Goldthwaite, you've got clearing skies. Adamsville and Lampasas, certainly improving conditions there, but still rather gusty winds. Much needed rain falling towards Evant and Hamilton, all those stock tanks finally getting some rain in them. We have seen rainfall estimates so far today less than an inch, but before this stuff is over with, I think we're going to see a number of spots coming in with as much as 1.5 inches of rain falling. Please be aware that there is weather still going on, very gusty winds, lots of lightning, blinding downpours of rain, and when the conditions are blinding like that, you can't really see what Mother Nature's got up her sleeve. That's where we're using the Doppler radar, which allows us to look inside these storms and see the velocity. And what velocity is the different speeds of the air coming towards and moving away from the radar site. That's when we can see if there is rotation going on, and that's how we're able to see where the storm centers may be and where the danger spots are a lot of times, because when it's dark you can't see these tornadoes, and when they're wrapped with rain, it makes it impossible to see where there may be some rotation going on. So the good old Doppler radar has certainly been a wonderful tool for us. And as we mentioned earlier, we are covered by radar sites in Austin, San Antonio. The site there is close to San Marcos. The Dallas-Fort Worth radar is close to Stephenville. We've got radar that covers portions of our southeastern viewing areas out of the Houston-Galveston area, and that one is down between Houston-Galveston near the NASA facility there. And we also get our western counties like San Saba and Mills and Comanche covered by the San Angelo office. The bad news is we've had some problems. The Granger radar, one that is situated very close to Holland and Granger in that area on Lake Granger, has been temperamental today. It keeps wanting to cut out. Techs have been out there, and we finally got it going again. We'll be able to get some of that velocity information coming in, which has certainly been a big help for us, and able to eliminate some of what is known as folding. And you can see folding occurring on this radar image right here, particularly in the Golinda area towards Moody. You see kind of like a double image there. That's what's called folding, because you're getting the images trying to process from two different radar sites. But when we've got that one close at hand that can see in there, then we're able to see a little bit better what's going on. So interesting day weather-wise here. Still a lot of very nasty conditions. Highway 77 from Chilton and Golinda on into Waco, moving off rapidly back towards the northeast and being replaced by another storm coming in, dumping some very high rainfall totals there along the Robinson area and into the south side of Waco. So we've got that area. We've also got, let's put a tracker on this latest batch of storms making their way from Falls County. We're tracking that storm towards the northeast at about 40 miles an hour, making first stop in Reagan, and then Cossie, and Thornton, and Rosebeck, and finally Mahia and Wortham. You're seeing that storm from 8 o'clock through 9 o'clock, affecting portions of Falls and Limestone counties there. Had many reports of flooding in the Groesbeck area, street flooding in Mahia and Wortham. The good news is it was over the road, but it wasn't so bad that it was astronomical or anything. But they are warning everyone to please stay indoors and stay off the roads if at all possible. Unless you have an emergency. Stay off the roads and stay out of this weather, because it's not over with yet. We're still tracking this stuff.
Yeah, and so I do have an update on that email I received from that viewer. The stormwater damage that was actually in Temple. This was just by the movie theater in the Back Porch Draft House in Temple, just off to the east of Interstate 35, so just south of where the movie theater and Back Porch Draft House and the new Crunch is going to be as well, and the Sol de Jalisco restaurant as well. So, in other words, it's near the Garland-Shelton complex where those car dealers have their businesses. Garland Shelton Nissan, Garland Shelton Mazda, those areas. That's where that damage was reported. And I have sent a message to the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth via Twitter, and for that report as well. And I will send it to our producers so that we can get that up for you as well. So that's definitely what that power of nature can do with that strong winds and that heavy rain. It caused the retaining wall to fall as well. So I'm going to go ahead and send it to the rest of our news team now. Andy?
Looking at the radar here, kind of upstream for us, if you consider southwest of us upstream, but this is where the stuff is coming from, and we're getting new development west of Austin, back towards Blanco and Marble Falls, in that area, streaming back through Georgetown, heading towards Gerald, heading on into the Temple area. You've got more action going on down near Lockhart that is heading towards Bastrop, and that is pushing into the areas just to the south of Cameron. So we still have activity brewing up and coming our way. We got some real concerns with this storm here. Let me come in here closer. Take you up into Limestone counties and over towards Hill County, along Highway 84 between Hubbard, Prairie Hill, and Mahia is the small community of Tawakoni, and what looks like we could be seeing a tornado developing near Coolidge, about 14 miles west of Mahia, and Tawakoni is between Coolidge and Mahia. Right there where these lines are intersecting is where we got some real concerns, and you see these waves of storms right through Rosebeck right now, making their way into the northern portions or central portions and then the northern portions of Limestone County. Tornado warning is in effect for these storms. This is the one right here. Look at that. Just from Prairie Hill on back up towards those little orange boxes, possible hook formation going on there.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a couplet on that velocity vector as well, just to the south and west of Coolidge as well on my max 2. You can pull that up real quick to kind of show you guys, because that's really important. I'm going to draw that little circle as well, because that's where we're starting to see that green is headed towards the radar and the red is headed away from the radar. There you see it. That's a very tight area of circulation just to the south and west of Coolidge. So if you're to the south and west of Coolidge, if you're in the Coolidge area along Texas Highway 171, you're going to want to make sure you take cover. Now, the National Weather Service in Fort Worth has debated on whether or not to extend this warning into Navarro County, which would include Corsicana at this point, but they have erred on not having it. However, we are starting to see it looks more red than green, and usually when you have these tight areas of circulation, you have those even areas of red and green, those bright red and that bright green coming together, and that's where we have those strongest tornadoes. But I don't think at this time that we are seeing that, but we are still seeing a good area of rotation in northern Milam County, off to the north and east of Prairie Hill, and we have that other tornado warned storm that's to the south of Mahia. And let's see if we can go ahead and scroll it down, and we have another one for Milam as well.
And Limestone and Falls County, new tornado warning till 8:45.
Yeah, new one till 8:45. Let's look at this one. I think this is the I think this is the Fort Hood radar right here, radar site. So it's hard to give us a good estimate of rotation, but you could barely see it just to the west of Kasi. You barely see it, but there's a little bit of green, or even that's maybe just the land, but that looks like maybe some slight rotation as well. A lot of these brighter red spots we will have to pay attention to, because if those turn into green in some spots, then that means we're starting to see some of that rotation associated with that. So it's definitely something we have to pay attention to as well, just off to the north of Bremont. So, Andy, do you have anything else?
Well, there's just so much activity going on. Yes, we have this storm that is extremely dangerous, but it's not the only one in town. This is reflectivity, and we're watching for possible rotation going on with this storm. So this new tornado warning has been issued and extended out to 8:45 this evening. So much of that eastern Falls County area, north and south of Highway 7, on down towards the Brazos River, getting some very heavy rains, very strong winds, and possible tornado in there about halfway between Cossie and Marlin, close to Blue Ridge and Stranger in that area off of Highway 7. Again, that warning is in effect until 8:45. We've also got action going on back over just to the north of Waco. Here's Perry. Otto Highway 6 runs into Waco there from the Marlin region. Mart is up here. Axtell back to the north. We're getting some very heavy rains, very strong winds of this stuff as well. Let's switch over to Max 1 and take a look at the reflectivity. Reflectivity just gives us the rain and the intensity of the rain that is showing across the region. Again, point out west, we're seeing improving conditions, so have faith. It's going to get better for us tonight. Area of rain from Waco that we were just looking at on the reflectivity on back up into Hill County there, stretching back down into Falls County around Marlin. We have this tornadic activity between Marlin and Groesbeck and Mahia. Fortunately, again, this is a very rural area, but nonetheless, there's plenty of structures there, barns and corrals that certainly don't need to be torn up in this stuff. Moderate to heavy rain stretches all the way over towards I-45, Fairfield, Buffalo, getting some very heavy rains. Things have improved a bit around Centerville, but look at this, back down towards Hearn, Cameron, Franklin. This is all making a trek back towards the northeast at around 40 miles an hour. So Centerville, you may not be out of the woods yet. We're getting some good rains in and around Marquay. That stuff is moving out pretty quickly, though. Heavy rains, once again, paying another visit into the area around Temple, on down to Belton and all the way down towards Gerald and Florence, of that area. So we have a very rocky road ahead of us. It's not over yet. So far, we've not had a whole lot of tornadic activity, but there has been some. Now seeing a little bit of hail showing up in this hail core here. That puts that storm close to Holland in that area, just to the south of Academy and Little River. So the storms aren't done. They continue to roll out of the south and up through our area, and we will continue to stay with you on these. If you happen to find some good photographs and you want to share them with us, we'd love for you to do so. Download the 6 News app and use the Near Me feature, and that will get the photographs to us, and we'll put them on our website and on the air as well. Another look at the action going on from a different perspective here. Everything moving out of the Texas Hill Country across our region and moving on out of here, but it's taking its time doing it. We've got a dry line of the Pacific front coming in from out west, and as it does, it's sharp contrast to the air masses, and that's what's been causing all this. You know how humid it was yesterday and this morning. With the light rain falling, that's a big contrast to the very dry air that's being pulled in by this frontal boundary out to the west of us, and that's what's firing all this action off. Enough shear in the atmosphere that we've seen the tornadic activity going on. We've had confirmed tornadoes being reported in Georgetown and around the Rockdale area. We've had other tornadoes spotted on the ground across portions of Milam County and over into Robertson County as well. Moderate to heavy rain still falling, considerable velocity into these storms here, some rotation showing up. So we're not letting off the pedal here. The tornado warnings remain in effect for portions of Falls County and over into portions of Robertson County and Limestone County with this one, and another storm prompting a tornado warning for portions of McLennan County and into Hill County as well. We're beginning to relax the lines out to the west of us, and dropping a few more counties as we go through from the tornado watch that's in effect until 10 o'clock tonight across the region. Jordan?
Oh, yes. So there is that new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for portions of Bell County because of the threat of hail in and around the Salado area. There it is. There's that system, the same area that had a tornado warning storm area and had a confirmed tornado just to the north and west of Salado. That's where we're starting to see that hail core start to develop as well. And we're going to show it to you in a little more detail here. And we don't really have it, but we do have that cell in Burleson County, creating that what looks like really strong thunderstorm there. And there is that tornado for a warning for McLennan County that is looking like it's about to expire in just a little bit. There is still that storm that could be making its way through portions of Limestone and Freestone. We haven't looked at whether or not this particular storm in extreme northern Limestone County is about to make its way into Navarro County. We're not sure if that's going to continue into Navarro as a tornado warning or just a severe thunderstorm warning. And there you see, this is that system. That includes Academy, includes eastern sections of Temple. We could be seeing that hail core start to develop as well. But in my opinion, I think we could see some hail possibly. And then as we move through here, there's the Cossie area. That storm has now moved through portions of Limestone County, in and around the Grosbeck area as well. And I think Mejia, which has seen already quite a bit of rain, could continue to see that as well. So we're looking at another email here that I've received, or the weather team has received. This is out of Pleasure Grove, Texas. And it looks like, to me, we're looking at it, Andy and I are both, but it looks like mainly a photo, but it looks like a wall cloud or something in and around the Pleasure Grove area. But we don't really have much of anything there. But what we do have are these tornado warning storms, eastern McLennan County into northern Limestone and southeastern Hill, and off into possibly Navarro County. We're not sure if this storm is going to continue into Navarro. Doesn't look, I think they are going to expire that warning once it reaches Navarro, but we are watching this trailing storm that looks like it's weakening a little bit, just passing just to the west of Mart, which is definitely good news, about to cross US 84. Now with the sun going down, it does not necessarily mean that a lot of that energy and that instability is gone. Case in point with the Burleson County storm, but some areas, especially in sections of Limestone County and off to our west, especially with the drive line having passed through, areas west of the drive line passing through, I can officially say Copper's Cove, you're in the all clear. Maybe you could say Colleen is in the all clear as well, but areas of eastern Bell County still have this complex of storms to go, and then Bell County will be in the all clear. But we're watching our eastern zones now. Depending on the intensity of those thunderstorms, those storms intensities could start to come down, because with the sun going down and the temperatures dropping with those temperature ranges, we could start to see that instability drop. But then again, tornadoes can still happen at night, and that is still something to pay attention to.
Hey, let's go over to Max 1 here real quick. I'm zoomed in real tight on eastern Falls County. You see Marlin there. Let me move this over there. You see Cossie there behind the 6 News logo. That's Highway 7, and just above Highway 7, just to the north of that, you're seeing a real bright pink. That is a hail core showing up very close to Stranger. Blue Ridge, really probably closer to Stranger since it's north of Highway 7 there. So you got a hail core moving through the rural areas of Falls County, very heavy rains moving towards Thornton, and what certainly looks like we could have a little bit of rotation going on in that storm in Falls County. Do you have velocity over there on yours?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up velocity right now here.
Moving over to Max 2 then.
Yeah, Max 2, yeah, I'm about to pull up velocity to see if we have something here, because that does look like some good rotation just to the south and west of Grosbeck and north of the Cossie area, like what we talked about. And there it is, right there, right over the Cossie area. Looks like some bright red or bright pink just to the west of Cossie. But then we're going to be seeing that storm. We can barely tell from this area in this range with the storm over the Cossie area of Limestone County. It hasn't fully made it out of Falls County, but we're watching the severe thunderstorm warning too, because this is closer to that radar site, and it looks like a little bit of rotation starting to try to fire up again just to the south and east of Salado as well. So that's with that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 8:45. We'll continue to monitor that for the possibility, because there is the potential of that radar indicated wind speed that's at, and also hail around golf ball size, around 1 1/4 inch in diameter as well. So that's what we have on that.
Just want to say one more thing on that storm there near Cossie and Thornton. Weather Service is also saying that certainly has the potential for producing a tornado on it. So please, this is a very dangerous storm. It's Highway 14 that runs from Cossie to, well, actually from Bryan College Station, or close to Bryan College Station, on up through Cossie to Thornton and on up towards to Grosbeck there. That's where this storm is sitting, is moving right through Thornton and rapidly pushing off towards the north at about 35, 40 miles an hour, starting to show perhaps a little bit of a hail core. Again, they're just south of Thornton, but east of Highway 14.
Yeah, and I've just put a tracker on this as well. We're looking at Thornton in these next couple of minutes at around 8:23. Grosbeck just after 8:30, and Douglas School just after 8:45, getting closer to 9 o'clock. That's this cluster right here. And we're going to be watching this still very closely for the potential of a tornado that could be touching down, because it looks like some bright pink. You could barely tell. That's going to be difficult for us to spot any potential rotation. Andy?
Look at this stuff boiling up down here around Salado again. Goodness gracious, look at this. Another hail core showing up just to the east of Salado, close to Academy. Very heavy rains, some small hail showing up with that, and extremely gusty winds. We got a severe thunderstorm warning for that one until 8:45. So it's not of the intensity in some of these storms, but still gusty winds in excess of 40, 50 miles an hour. Some small hail indicated here by Doppler radar, and I certainly would expect some blinding rain and vivid lightning in this storm. Again, this is south and southeast portions of Bell County. You see Salado, you see Rogers, right there on Highway 95 is where the heaviest is going on. And that is very close to Little River and Academy there.
Yes, and just to the north of Holland.
Yes.
Just to the south and east of Belton as well. And it looks like it's going to cross Highway 95 in just a few minutes, and then cross 190 soon thereafter. So Temple, this might just barely scrape us here in downtown Temple, but it's going to cross US 190 and Texas Highway 95 within the next few minutes. And there is that hail core, because we're going to pause it right here. And there you see that hail core just to the west of Sparks and Little River Academy. Let's see if there are any streets that we can see in that area. It doesn't look like we can see any.
I can hear the outer edge of that rain shield on our roof here in downtown Temple.
I can hear it as well. All right, so let's see.
Wild night for us in the weather department. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern portions of Bell County. Inside that watch box, you do have Salado, you have Rogers, you have Temple. Owenaville is included in it, as well as Zapchikville. Very heavy rains, and again, we continue to see a little hail core show up, then disappear and show back up again. It's in that right rear quadrant of that storm, and it is moving on up towards the northeast at around 45, 50 miles an hour.
Okay,
right
so
now.
by the way, that tornado warning storm for northern Limestone County, that has been allowed to expire as it moved into Navarro. So that's good news there. But we have a hail core, a very strong hail core starting to pop up just south of Grosbeck. There it is, along Texas Highway 14, and just to the south of near Thornton, and that's just to the north of Grosbeck. That is a very strong hail core. It looks like we could get very good hail sizes associated with this. Could be golf ball size hail, because that could be very dangerous. It could cause damage to vehicles, damages to cars, and other objects. Could be damaging to roofs, siding, those kind of things as well. So that could be something to pay attention to as well. It's moving up Highway 14, and we're gonna see if there's any velocity with that as well, because it's moving a little bit further and further away from the Fort Hood radar, and hopefully we can get a good look once it reaches the Dallas-Fort Worth radar. And we don't really see it there, but there's a very light little dot, this little dot that looks like it may be either just, yeah, it does look like just the terrain, but that light pink right there, in the meantime, just to the south of Thornton, and we look for lighter colors the further away we are from a radar to indicate rotation. And this does look like we're starting to see this storm in the Thornton area start to rotate just a little bit, but also you have that hail core just to the south of Groesbeck. I think it's going to pass into the Groesbeck area within the next few minutes here. So if you're in the Groesbeck area, make sure you are inside your steady structure. Andy?
I've got a tracker on it on Max 1, and cross your fingers. It looks like it may pass south of Groesbeck. Fortunately, again, very rural area here, so we don't see much as far as communities are concerned until it gets over close to Tig. And Tig is in the path of this storm as it gets over towards I-45. So heads up across portions of Leon County, Limestone County, Freestone County as well, for deteriorating weather conditions moving into your area as well. That hail core looks like it just continues to grow there, just to the northeast of Thornton.
All right, so the Limestone WeatherNet has just reported pea-sized hail west of Groesbeck along LCR 412 and Highway 14. So yes, that is the report of hail. So as we suspected, we have hail in the Groesbeck area and back towards the Thornton area. And we're starting to see a hail core, a mini hail core pass up just to the west of Hearn as well in Robertson County. Now, it doesn't look like this particular storm associated with this tornado warning looks like it's going to extend into Robertson County. It may. This is a Dallas-Fort Worth county, but the bigger storm has now created a tornado warning for Brazos County, including Bryan College Station, for those areas there. But back to the Groesbeck storm here, there is that big hail core. It's seeming like it's starting to expand and get wider. And when you have larger hail cores like this, then we could be having larger hail stones as well. We just had the report of pea-sized hail, but that could become golf ball-sized hail, possibly even baseball-sized hail in some spots as well. And it's just to the east of Highway 14, about to cross Highway 164 as well. Quite a bit of lightning associated with this as well. But this is tornado warned because of the possibility of rotation. There you see that little kink just to the east of Thornton. That's what the National Weather Service office just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is watching and monitoring for the development of a tornado. Otherwise, this would be a severe thunderstorm warning for that large hail potential as well.
We're getting reports from a weather watcher. They're getting bombarded in Groesbeck with pea-sized hail right now.
Bombarded in Groesbeck with pea-sized hail? Yes,
just like
absolutely.
You said.
Exactly, because that pink, that's where that hail core is. And definitely something you don't want to pay attention to. And those weather watchers, once it's safe to do so, you may want to get out and take photos of those hailstones. And that's something you could send to our Near Me feature on the 6 News app as well, are those larger hailstones, and you can measure it out and send it to us, and we could send that and forward it to the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth and near the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. And that's where we can get that submitted and we can get those reports in in a timely manner, because that's very important. So remember, go to the 6 News app and take a photo once it's safe to do so, of course, and go to the Near Me feature, upload a photo, click upload photo or video, tell us what you saw, give us a brief description, your name and your location. And once you see success, that success screen pop up, that means we've received it and we can get that reported to the National Weather Service office. Andy?
Yeah, tag team weather here. There you go. Go to Max 1 real quick. I want to show you. Look at this. Up I-35 from the Austin area, Georgetown. It is just a solid wall of rain along the interstate just to the east of it now, all the way into Temple now, a little bit of a break from Troy north, but it's filling back in again. So it's not the night for travel anywhere on I-35 or I-45 for that matter, in between the two interstates, because the atmosphere is very volatile for more storm activity building up in the Texas Hill Country, moving on back and through our area, keeping things pretty volatile for another couple of hours, it looks like. So, although some of the intensity has begun to drop a little bit, we're still seeing very active hail producers. Look at this one making its way through Bell County, just to the south of Temple. You've had other storms that are producing hail back up here into near Thornton. You see the pink showing up there, right there. We got more storms producing hail down to the Brazos Valley between Rockdale and Marquay and over towards Calvert and Hearn, into the area around Franklin. Moderate to heavy rain now, but some hail showing up earlier, and more storms just to the southwest of College Station showing up. So everything is still going on. We haven't dropped anything down. We still have a tornado watch that's in effect, basically along at either side of I-35. Much of the area west of I-35 is beginning to be cleared out because the dry line, the instability has moved on back towards the Waco Temple area along the I-35 corridor. So our counties out west are being cleared from the warnings. But Gatesville, you still got a lot of cloud cover. You're right on the edge of it. Same thing with Copperas Cove. It looks like it's getting better in Kempner, Copperas Cove, and Killeen. I think that we're probably safe to say that you're out of the line of fire there, but man, just to the east over towards I-35 and the area between the two interstates, still very volatile. You're watching out for hail. You're watching out for very strong gusty winds and blinding downpours of rain across the area, and these blinding rains can hide a tornado or two. We call it being rain shielded, so you're unable to see what's going on inside of them.
Yes, actually we just received word that the tornado warning for Milam County, that has been allowed to expire. So that Milam County tornado has been allowed to, tornado warning has been allowed to expire. We're just watching down towards Brazos and Burleson counties, as well as up towards the Limestone County, up toward the Groesbeck area as well. If you could pull up Max 2 for us real quick. And we're going to show you there is that huge thunderstorm activity and that strong area of rotation in Burleson and Brazos counties. And there is that tornado warning that has been allowed to expire. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to scroll up to the Limestone County storm, because it looks like that may be the only one as far as the tornado warning is concerned for our immediate viewing area. It could be extended, might not. We do have some rotation reported.
Yeah, it certainly looks impressive. It looks like the Weather Service is contemplating another tornado warning for portions of Freestone and Limestone County.
Yeah, so that would mean maybe areas to the west of Fairfield and the Teague area, most likely down up towards Curvin, and areas just to the west of Fairfield. That's what where we would see that.
60-mile-an-hour winds clocked in that storm at Groesbeck too.
Yes, man. Yeah, definitely. Like I talked about this morning, large hail, damaging winds being the main threats, but 1 or 2 tornadoes couldn't be ruled out. We actually did have a couple of those tornadoes that did pop up, and yep, that tornado warning has been extended to Freestone County. That's until 9/15. That's just been issued. It's capable of producing a tornado located 10 miles east of Groesbeck, and that pace is quickened. It's moving to the northeast now at 50 miles an hour, so that's going to be a very quick pace. And we're going to go ahead and track that. Let's time it out for you, because that's going to be the important part. If we're going by this, we're looking at Personville at 8:34, so in the next few minutes. Fairfield just prior to 9 o'clock, and the Young area just prior to 9, and Trinity Chapel School, that's right along that Trinity River at the same time as well. So definitely, if you're in Freestone County, if you're in the Fairfield area, I would get ready to get into your safe place now, especially since we've had really good rotation and just to the south and east of Groesbeck. And there's that hail core off to the east of Groesbeck as well. If you don't get any rotation passing through you, you could be seeing a very strong hail core, especially the Booker T. Washington School. That's where you would be seeing a lot of that hail making its way through. So definitely something to pay attention to as well. And your Personville, you may need to get you're going to need to get in your safe place right now if you're in that area. Andy?
Well, take a look at it on Max 1. That hail core is huge there. Look at it.
Oh, yes, that is definitely a very large hail core. It's crossing Highway 164 now, and that hail core could be reaching Booker T. Washington School in the next few minutes in the Teague area. A minute later, and around Curvin at around 8:47, and then just before 9, we would be looking at Fairfield, seeing that hail as well.
And the street tracker is pretty accurate on these times. You're looking at very little variance in what these storms are doing and what the predictions are for the arrival. What you can expect is a very heavy rains. We're getting winds that seem to be increasing in velocity over the last hour or so as these storms get further towards the east into a more moist atmosphere, where now we're starting to see sustained winds of 50 and 60 miles an hour with gusts on top of that, moving through these areas like Limestone and Freestone counties. Very latest from the Weather Service is saying they're looking at this same cell capable of producing a tornado 10 miles east of Groesbeck, and this thing is moving forward speed at 50 miles an hour. You tack on wind gusts and winds in circulation around this thing, and you're talking about 70, 80, 90 mile an hour winds hitting you. Ping pong to marble-sized hail being reported. The Limestone County Weather Net, same area we're talking about there, just to the north of, what highway is that, 84, I think?
Yeah, it looks like just to the north of, that looks like 164.
Yeah.
Yeah, along, and that would be, I think, Highway 84 as well. That 164 and 84 look like they're the same highway. Let's look here, and let me clear this out for you to kind of see, because that's going to be important. There you see it. This is 164. Yeah, this is 164. No, they're not the same highway, but they are. 164 goes through Groesbeck, and 84 goes through Mejia.
Yeah. And
we do have. It's well to the east of Highway 14 in Groesbeck, but we do have.
Well, it's crossing the county line into to Freestone County
now. It's crossing to Freestone, yes.
So a very wild, wet evening for us tonight. We're not out of the woods yet in the Waco Temple, Killeen area, although conditions are beginning to improve out west. We should see better weather for our western counties. Several of them have already been cleared from the tornado watch that's been in effect. We have a tornado watch up until 10 o'clock tonight for the potential of these strong thunderstorms that are capable of producing tornadoes. And we've had a number of reports of Doppler radar indicated tornadoes. And we've also had eyewitness reports of tornadic activity in the Rockdale and Georgetown areas.
Yeah, that's definitely what we've been watching. Back on the chat, we still have that Freestone Limestone tornado, and it looks tornado warning, and it looks right now that that's the only tornado warning storm in central Texas at this point in time.
Yeah.
There is that very potent cell about to cross into Brazos County. It had some really well-defined rotation with it, but we're going to focus still on Limestone and Freestone, headed off to the north and east toward the Teague area, the Fairfield area, and then eventually it would leave once it crosses the Trinity River. That's for the Tyler TV stations to handle. But we do have an area of thunderstorms as well passing through the Corsicana area, and there's a very potent hail core along that Trinity River in portions of Ellis County. And it's just going to pass well away from our viewing area, but something to pay attention to. We are watching that hail core again in Bell County right now. It's in effect until 8:45, so another 15 minutes. It does look like it's weakening somewhat, which is good.
Well,
but we're going to watch that.
But it still has a hail core showing
Yes.
up every once in a while. It pulses up, and then it weakens, and it pulses back up again. and I'll go in a little closer on this thing.
Yeah, go
I'm
on
on
max
max
one.
1 here.
Yeah, going to max 1.
And this is Temple area around Zabjikville and the county line and Bell Falls up to the north, the top of the screen there. Two big cells right there just to the south of Highway 53, heading
Seton
right
area.
into Zabjikville and making that turn there where the highway branches off to go to Rosebud and to Lotz there, right at the county line. Some big storms. Heavy rain, very strong gusty winds in that portion of Bell County right now, enough to prompt the severe thunderstorm warning that is still up and flying for at least another 10 minutes. In 10 minutes time, it doesn't mean the storm's going to be over with. It's going to be out of Bell County, and then it'll be over into
Falls County.
And possibly even to Milam County. Milam County is just to the south there. There's Burlington right on the county line as well. So it's going to straddle that area. And we talked about some of the smaller communities a little while ago, the Rosebud and Travis and Lott. Get down right to the Brazos River. You got Wilderville and Cedar Springs is in there as well. And you get over to Highway 6 and Bremont and Reagan. You're in the path of this storm. And then it's going to be making its way into Thornton and Cossie in that area. So things are still blowing and going here as far as these storms are concerned. We needed the rain. We certainly needed the rain. Our rainfall deficit that I was going to talk about during the 6 o'clock news tonight, our rainfall deficit is approaching like 5 inches. We're so far behind in rain. Severe to extreme drought conditions. Sadly, the worst drought conditions on the other side of the interstate. It's not across the area. The blackland areas are doing pretty good. It's the areas west of I-35 that are so dry.
And we do have some breaking news. An emergency manager, I believe in Limestone County, has reported at Farm to Market 3371 and Farm to Market 937 that funnel cloud has observed a touchdown. So that means that there was a touchdown of that tornado. I think it was in and around that Personville. So exactly what we were fearing with that cell has taken place here. Now we have a hail core that's expanded as well. I'm going to show you on max 2 here as well, because we've got quite a bit of that expansion of that hail core. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll it up for you towards the Freestone County. That hail core is now in Freestone County, and that's really expanded, now entering the Teague area as well, and a very big area of lightning in and around the Personville area as well. And we're going to go ahead and turn on that velocity vector to kind of show you. And we're still seeing that light pink because we're on the very edge and those outer fringes of the 2 radar sites, because we're kind of in between a rock and a hard place. Oh, man, now we have a much better look at this. And that looks like we had a much better look for a second there. There's that rotation that is just to the north and east of Personville and just to the south and east of Teague in Freestone County. That's really good, better defined area of rotation as we've switched to the Dallas-Fort Worth radar site as well as we get closer to Freestone County. So southwestern Freestone County. If you're anywhere in Freestone County, that's highlighted here like Fairfield, Teague, and just off to the north and east of Personville, you need to get to your safe place immediately. Make sure it's in the lowest level of your house, into your room, away from windows. More walls between you and the outside, the better. And now night has fallen, and that means that you can't really see any tornadoes now. So you need to make sure that you are in your safe place immediately, and do not try and take a picture of the tornado, especially at night, because that is dangerous for sure. So also, if you're in a mobile home, make sure you get out of that mobile home and find that sturdy structure like a gas station or somewhere, and make sure that you have as many walls between you and the outside world as possible, because that looks like a very dangerous couplet, and this has been observed to have dropped a tornado in Limestone County. I'm not sure how long this is going to hold together, but this is something we're going to have to pay attention to as well. This tornado warning is until 9:15 p.m. So we've still got a ways to go here, around 45 minutes, 35 minutes left to go with this system here. This is the only tornado warned storm in central Texas, but this could still produce a tornado, and something we're going to have to watch for again. Andy?
Well, let's go back over to Max 1 here. I'm still watching this. You've got the tornado warning storm over there. Still keeping an eye on this severe thunderstorm near Academy, just to the southeast of Temple. This storm looks like it's going to be headed in the exact same direction as the one over Limestone and Freestone counties right now. So they've got teams out trying to assess the situation, but they're having to deal with weather conditions that continue to deteriorate. These storms kind of pulse up and then they weaken a little bit and they pulse back up, and then right behind it, as I talked earlier, you've got more storms moving over the same footprint of previous storms. So it's going to be a wild night here for us. You're looking on Max 1 at portions of southern Bell County, southeastern Bell County, close to the Milam County line. Heavy rain falling from near Holland on up to Academy, and then pushing over toward Zapchukville and eventually over toward Lott and Rosebud and Falls County. Then you've got other storms that were just in that area that are pushing straight over into Limestone County, on top of the storms that are producing or are closing in on the same storms that are possibly producing a tornado over there near Personville, the very tight rotation you were looking at a moment ago. So yes, it's just a severe thunderstorm watch here for this storm south of Temple, but it's on top of areas that we've been tracking tornadic weather as well. So 1-2 punch, just double whammy here across the portions of Temple and Bell and Falls and Limestone counties.
Yes, and you've got to start thinking about the training of thunderstorms that could create heavy rainfall as well. With those same rainfall falling over the same areas, that could promote a good flood threat as well. So,
well, you know, and we were watching that stuff as early as 12:30, 1 o'clock this afternoon. A line of storms had developed from Cameron, or close to Cameron, and just to the east of Cameron, stretching straight up through Groesbeck and Mahia and on up towards Corsicana. And this line, this train of storms just kept on producing storm after storm after storm. So they were already picking up some very heavy rains. As I mentioned maybe 30 minutes ago, weather watcher over in Groesbeck said she'd already had over an inch of rain, close to an inch and a quarter, I think. And you're absolutely right. We're going to have some flooding problems. Good thing is that a lot of that black land absorbs that moisture pretty well. You're getting some pretty good sponge-like conditions over there, soaking it up. But if you keep on getting storm on top of storm on top of storm, then we will start seeing some problems. And in your smaller urban areas, your smaller towns, the rain. Your gutters, your drainage systems can't handle that much water at one time. Not hearing any reports of much in the way of any street flooding. I did have a report out of Wortham about 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon of some street flooding. That's just to the north of Mahia. So the potential is there. And just look at I-35 from Troy south to Austin. It's still almost solid rain going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Troy down to Austin, you've got quite a bit of rain as well. And also there's a new severe thunderstorm warning for northern Williamson again until 9 o'clock. So they've been going through it in northern Williamson County so far. And eastern sections of Bell County, the warning should expire at 8:45. We're going to see if it extends into Falls, maybe Rosebud Lot, but either way, they're still going to have more rain training over the same exact area, and that can cause a bit of a flood threat as well. And you were talking about the poor drainage areas even outside our station, you know this all too well.
I have.
That's a very poor drainage area.
Yeah, Calhoun
by
Street.
The library, yeah, near Calhoun Street. Yes, like definitely a very not good drainage area at all. I remember earlier, like about a year ago, there was a heavy rain event, and I was still working the weekend, and Nikki Lattarulo had texted me, talked about how the road was a pool from all that poor drainage, and you could make that assessment throughout the height of the heaviest rain here in Central Texas as well for tonight. So
that's getting into that old historic part of Temple with the cobblestone streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well, yes. And then there you see that hail core, by the way, just passed through the Teague area. There's that ball, that area rotation just to the south and east of Teague and north and west of the town of Freestone in Freestone County. And it's going to pass through the Fairfield area I would say within the next 15, 20 minutes. So if you're in the Fairfield area, be prepared for this hail core and make sure you are in a sturdy structure. It is 8:45 anyway. A lot of you guys are probably having dinner right now and are probably listening to us on air or online because we're live streaming on YouTube as well or on Facebook as well. So definitely we're paying attention. So we're watching this storm, and okay, yep, that storm, that warning has been allowed to expire for Bell County. And Teague is reporting golf ball size hail.
Yep.
Teague is reporting golf ball size hail. We are looking at seeing if there's possibility of any more cells going into Limestone. We are seeing that cell. We're going to watch to see if it does form another severe thunderstorm warning for Limestone, but more than likely we just have Freestone County, so I would think Limestone would be dropped from this tornado warning momentarily, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Groesbeck or Mejia are in the clear because we have this tiny little cell just to the south of Mart, and we also have that previously severe warning storm just to the north and west of Rosebud that just crossed Highway 53. Yes, Andy.
I was just looking at the hail moving across Tig, heading towards Fairfield right there. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, I'm on Max 1 here, and the TIG locator is not showing, but there's Mejia, there's Fairfield, and where those two roads combine, right there where those two pink bars are, that's hail, and that is TIG, and they're just getting bombed right now. And I would imagine it's the same as what we were getting from our reporter over in Groesbeck, probably some pea-sized hail. I don't know that it's probably gotten any bigger than that. I don't think the clouds are building that high up into the atmosphere to make them much larger than that. Yeah. But certainly, you get that much pea-sized hail, that's going to leave a mark.
Okay, yeah, I do want to go back on Max 2 because we do have a confirmed tornado. This is in Brazos County, and it's confirmed headed straight for College Station. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I know we have a lot of parents across Central Texas who have students, who have kids, who are students at Texas A&M University. Texas A&M University has a very elaborate severe weather plan for these situations. So parents, I do want to take a moment and reassure you, while yes, there is a tornado, confirmed tornado, headed toward the College Station, Texas A&M campus, I do want to let you guys know that your children are going to be safe because there is an elaborate plan for severe weather on the campus of Texas A&M University and the city of College Station in general. So that's basically what we have in terms of that. Now back to the Limestone County storm.
Well, we've also got a new warning for the Waco area.
Yes.
McLennan County just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. It looked like it's south of Waco. I don't think my machine is caught up with it just yet.
Yeah, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Falls County. I thought the previous one was expired, but now a new one's been issued for Falls County. That includes Rosebud Lot, and there's another storm, I think, for Bell County. I think they're talking about this Bartlett storm, this other area that could be producing a hail core as well. So that's something we're going to be watching as well. And the tornado warning for Limestone has been canceled, by the way. So it's now all Freestone County with this tornado warning in the Fairfield area.
Yeah, my my phone is showing it faster than my computer, my weather graphic system is here. We got a new warning for McLennan Falls and Bell County until 9:30 tonight.
Yes, so yeah, new severe thunderstorm warning is on the way for Milam, Bell, and Falls. We'll get the timing on it. It does look to be until 9:30 tonight for those particular areas. Hopefully, we can get one last bit of that tornado warning. That tornado warning is in effect until 9:15, so for another 30 minutes. And we do have that system making its way towards Fairfield with that hail core first. And possibly just off to the east could be where we could see that radar indicated tornado. And we just got a report from Limestone. We have trees down at LCR 463 and 466, trees blocking the road in Personville, Highway 39 and Highway 164 West.
There you go.
Yep, Personville, that's probably where we had what looked like a rotation, what looked like possibly a tornado passing
Certainly.
through that area.
Yeah, certainly had some wind shear.
And Teague has reported golf ball size hail, 1 3/4 inch diameter. So there's that as well.
Well, it just keeps on coming here. We got, if you just joined us, wow, what an evening we've had. We've had tornadic activity stretching from the Austin area all the way over to Freestone County, around Fairfield. We have had several reports of eyewitness storm spotters seeing falls, funnel clouds rotation reaching the ground, actual tornadoes, and some that did not reach the ground, some that were rain shrouded, indicated by Doppler radar, and just so many hail reports, we can't count them. And it's not over yet. We're still under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Much of the I-35 corridor, some of our western counties, those counties west of I-35 back towards Highway 281 have been cleared because the cold front, the dry line have passed on through, and the weather conditions are improving. The atmosphere is becoming more stable again. But from just west of I-35, through the Interstate 35 corridor, east towards I-45, we continue to be very moist, very unstable, and we continue to see new development down in the Texas Hill Country that's bringing this stuff on back into our area and pushing it on up towards extreme northeast Texas. So we have tornado warning in effect until 9 o'clock. But I think that we're going to see that extended. We have a new tornado warning, rather severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 9:30, which will include McLennan County, Falls County, and Bell County. You see some of these echoes showing up here just near Bell Falls on the county line. Near Circleville, we're also seeing some hail being shown in the latest storms making their way out of Williamson County into Bell County. Very stormy night along Highway 91. Again, we tell you, if you haven't found your safe place yet, you'll know for next time, because the storms just keep on rolling through this same area. Get away from windows, obviously, with the winds blowing, doing the damage that they can do with tree limbs and what have you. We could certainly see windows being broken, and you don't want to be standing next to the windows when the glass comes blowing in. So get to an interior room of your house away from the windows as much as possible. Seeing a tornado down there in Robertson County, just outside of our viewing area, but nonetheless, that's the storms that we were talking about making their way towards the Bryan College Station area. Concentrating on this action between I-35 and back towards Highway 79, where the big stuff is going on for us right now. The big story is this action making its way through Bell County on up into Falls County, just keeps on redeveloping and moving over the same areas, strong. We wouldn't stay on the air like this all night if it wasn't for some really strong storms making their way through here. We might pop on once in a while for a severe storm. As it dies down, we'll drop back off and go back to programming. But we've been on since what, 5:40, 5:45? Yeah, I mean, we keep on going because the storms keep on moving across the area, and we got more stuff coming. So to recap, we got a tornado warning in effect for storms over in Limestone County, making their way across the area just to the north of Buffalo. You can see them here just outside of Groesbeck. We've got severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Temple area up towards Moody and even over towards Waco. So you've got Bell County, McLennan County, and Falls County, which is this whole area. Once again, just continues to bring in the moisture through the Rosebud Lot area, Chilton, and into to Marlin as well, with severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect there until 9:30. Tornado warning in effect till 9 o'clock. Where are we on that? Almost 9 o'clock now, isn't it?
Yes, it is almost 9 o'clock. Time is now 8:54, as a matter of fact. And we can switch it back on the map for a moment, because look at that. The hail core now right on top of Fairfield here. No, actually, Max 2, I should say. It's a hail core right on top of Fairfield. Look at that. That's a big hail core on top of Fairfield, crossing Interstate 45 right now, crossing US 84. We are watching that area of rotation just to the west of the Dew area. And now with that new scale, with that new thing, we're going to start to see that rotation. Let's see if that rotation is still holding together, because this is the last tornado warning in Central Texas, we would imagine, for tonight. But let's move it on. We're going to scroll.
What I haven't heard tonight is power outages.
Yeah, we haven't heard that. That's definitely the good news about it.
Until just now. Now, the sheriff's office is reporting power flashes being reported near Mart.
Near Mart? Mm-hmm. That's what eastern McLennan.
That's, yeah, in McLennan County.
Yeah, so yeah, we do have some power outages. They may be sporadic in nature, and we're starting to see some broader rotation to the south of Fairfield here with that same storm that's bringing in that hail core. Now, we've still got 15 minutes left, and I think this could be the last tornado warned storm in Central Texas for the night, because that sun has come down, and that's going to lower the instability as the temperatures go down as well. And plus, the dry line looks like it's about to approach the I-35 corridor, so that's definitely good news for areas along and west of it. Places such as Bell County, places such as Belton, Temple, Killeen is already in the clear there. And there you start to see it as well, just to the south and east of Fairfield. That's where you have some broadened rotation. Now, the radar, it's only radar indicated. It's not confirmed on the ground. But, you know, as long as everybody is in their safe place, just to the south and east of Fairfield and heading up toward the Trinity River, you should be okay. But we've been with this all day. A tornado can drop at any moment, guys. Like what we saw with Round Rock, like what we saw with Gerald earlier this afternoon. We had quite a bit of that rotation, and we had that strong thunderstorms. Like what we're seeing now in Bryan College Station, with that tornado that is confirmed. It was confirmed in around the Snook area on the border of Burleson and Brazos counties. So that's where we have that thunderstorms. All right. Okay, Bailey. Okay, we have a live shot coming in from Gerald. This is in northern Williamson County in the Gerald area from our colleague, our reporter, Bailey Bates. We have a live shot here, if we could pull that up, because we have what looks like some major storm damage here, if we can get that up, because it just kind of shows you. Yep, all right, here's Bailey.
Hey Jordan, before I get into all the details of what we've seen this afternoon since the storm started up, I'm going to show you some of the largest damage we've seen so far. This is the type of damage that is coming out of these storms that you just talked about, that's coming from the Austin area all the way up to Freestone County. This is our carport that is folded and collapsed on 3 cars here on this property. There's also downed wires, there's roof shingles. We've got a little bit of everything, and the homeowner tells me everything happened so quickly. And he saw a trash can fly by his window, and all of a sudden he knew he had to get into the basement. He does want to remind people that when we're telling you about these watches, these warnings, to listen to them, because everything will happen very quickly. Back in 1997, this same area in Gerald was hit. And so this community is hurting tonight. They're so glad there was no injuries and no deaths reported here. But we're going to have more coverage coming to you in just a little bit. But Jordan, I'm going to send it back to you. Live in Gerald, Bailey Bates, 6 News.
All right, thank you very much, and Bailey. And yes, thank goodness we have not had any significant injuries or deaths so far. Thank goodness. With the light of day in the morning, we could start to reveal more, but what we saw from Round Rock was far worse than what we had in Gerald, and that's definitely, you know, something we're going to pay attention to, is when we wake up in the morning, we'll see a lot of the damage, we'll see what's been reported, and we'll get more insight on exactly how it happened. But we do have the live look. This is still Freestone County. This storm, it's going to be planning to expire at around 9:15, and probably they will expand it across the Trinity River. Now, we wouldn't have to worry about this storm once it does that, but definitely something to pay attention to if you have any interest in the Tyler area, out towards Tyler, Longview. That's their DMA, that's their market area that would be seeing this tornado move through, and they're going to have a very long night as well because their threats are going to be mainly during the overnight hours. But here in Central Texas, this is the lone tornado warned storm, still radar indicated, but we don't have anything that does indicate that this storm is going to drop a tornado at this time. But if we get tighter rotation, if we get a better couplet, a stronger couplet, then we could be looking at it, and definitely something to be paying attention to. And there is that next scan, starting to see a little bit more in terms of rotation. But other than that, I think this probably is going to be the last tornado warning storm. Yes, we do have the severe warning storm over portions of Bell, Falls, and even extreme southern sections of McLennan County as well. But other than that, we do expect to be done after these systems move through. And then we have that confirmed tornado that's now dropped Burleson County from the warning, and now it's moving into Brazos counties and the extreme northern Grimes County, including the Beat Eyes area, and then off towards Madisonville and the Brazos Valley. So that's really all we have left right now, but we've got a long trail of storms passing through the Austin area, but that's not expected to affect us here in Bell County because that's going to take a northeasterly track that might make a run at Cameron probably, and maybe even the Giddings area if it does stay on an easterly track, and maybe the Cameron, the Thorndale area as well. Andy?
Let's go back to Max 2 real quick. I was going to point something out here. These storms that have moved through Limestone and Freestone counties, they're still trucking. They moved out of our viewing area, but this is over near Malakoff, and we've got a possible tornado showing up there. See a lot of lightning embedded in that storm. It's very heavy downpours of rain, hail, and a possible tornado showing up as well. Okay, now let's go back over to Max 1. Let me show you what's going on here. There's a storm making its way across I-45. It's Fairfield. Very vivid hail core showing up, and then a lot of pea-sized hail. This stuff just keeps coming, wave after wave after wave, and it's not over yet. And we pointed out several times in the past hour, you're getting training going on. So there's going to be some very wet places across Central Texas, particularly east of I-35, along I-45, and in between the two interstates, where it's going to be muddy and it's going to be soft. So be mindful that you may need the four-wheel drive here in the next couple of days until things dry out for us. The good news is, so far, I'm not hearing much in the way of any flooding problems across the region, but we certainly have seen some minor flooding in some of our urban areas, small town urban areas like Wortham. Some streets flooded in Mahia and Groesbeck as well. We've had some reports of some water standing in the streets in Marlin. Marlin's always had some drainage problems as well, and that's still going on back in their area. Mart and over towards Axtell and Elmont, that kind of that circle there to the north, east of Waco has gotten a lot of rain, and there was water across some of the farm to market roads in that area as well. So the intensity is beginning to die down, but we're still looking at considerable moisture falling on grounds that are in some cases extremely saturated, and not to mention the very strong winds that have been doing some problems, as you saw in Belly Bates' report. At Gerald, we've had some damage from winds to structures. We've had damage to tree limbs, damage power lines. Power lines go down and we start losing electricity across the area. Not a lot of that with this, but nonetheless, there have been some isolated cases of that, and it's still going on. To bring you up to date, we have a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, basically from out near Lake Whitney out to the northwest of us, across the I-35 corridor over to I-45, and that's the eastern extreme of this watch box. And that's going to be at least until 10 o'clock. We might see it extended, but I think conditions are beginning to improve enough out west that we'll be able to whittle away more of those counties. And the atmosphere is, as Jordan pointed out a couple of minutes ago, as the sun has gone down, the atmosphere is beginning to cool a little bit, and we're starting to see a little more stability work its way in. Not as much activity out to the west of us, but still considerable activity going on down south that is redeveloping in the Austin, Georgetown, Round Rock area, rumbling up through Gerald and into our Highway 95 communities like Circleville and like Taylor, and then on up towards Holland and Granger, that area, and then it keeps rolling right up through Bell County into Falls County, and then it goes into portions of McLennan County and Limestone and Freestone County. It's one right after another, and that's been the story going on all night long tonight. Here to the northeast of Fairfield, still looking at hail core. I'm betting probably to the size of maybe pennies now. We were looking at pea-size hail, but I'm thinking maybe pea-size to penny-size. They're showing up across the portions of eastern Freestone County, the other side of the I-45 corridor right now. Big rains continue, a lot of lightning, very dangerous. Things are settling down a little bit, but it's not over yet. I don't want to give you the all clear on this, but it's certainly looking like a better picture than we've seen.
All right, so we've got more counties that have been dropped from the tornado watch. It includes Bosque, Coryell, Hill, Lampasas, and McLennan counties. They are now out of the tornado watch. However, we still have the tornado warning storm that's in effect for another 10 minutes. Hang with us. We got another 10 minutes because this is the last, if you could bring up Max 2 here, because this is going to be the last tornado warning storm in Central Texas. We do have that tornado warning storm in the Brazos Valley that is affecting Madison County, Grimes County, and eastern Brazos County, but that's technically not our viewing area. And I know I have a lot of parents that that have kids that attend Texas A&M that are in our viewing area. We'll keep you abreast on that briefly as we head throughout the course of the night. But this is going to be pretty much done within the next 10 minutes, and we're going to take a look at the rotation on this. Also, I received video via email of another frequent lightning. This is in the Grosbeck area in front of her house facing Highway 114, but it's known as Ellis Street in the Grosbeck area. And all it shows is frequent lightning. And it had a really strong lightning couplet associated with that. Crystal, producer upstairs, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this video and send it to you guys, because that is something to be that is going to be a sight to really see, because it's crazy indeed, because you've got that lightning. That's something we needed to figure out as well, but that is something we're going to be paying attention to. And I'm going to go ahead and send that link to Crystal right now as it uploads. And now it's uploaded. I've sent it in Teams to you, Crystal. So once you see it, you should be able to look at it. We do have an area of thunderstorm activities that doesn't look severe near the Mejia Grosbeck area. We do have the severe thunderstorm warning, and we got a good hail core now once again in the same areas that have seen that tornado warning. So just to the east of Holland and just to the south and west of Rogers, you're starting to see a good hail core as well. And that's not going to be expiring until 9:30. We have a new tornado warning that's until 9:45 for Anderson and Freestone. But it looks like Freestone is about to be out of this because it's in extreme northeastern sections of Freestone County.
All right, switch you over to Max 1 here and take you back down south again, because this ride's not over yet. We have consecutive severe thunderstorm warnings in effect from San Marcos through Austin, and from Austin on up to Georgetown, and from Georgetown up to Bell County. And through Bell County, it goes on up into Falls County as this southern part of the line. Stop whispering.
Sorry.
I hear you. His microphone's hot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn it off real quick.
amateurs. We've got action going on down along the I-35 corridor from Austin all the way back up into our area, and it's not over yet. Yes, we are going to clear out the tornado warned storm here pretty quickly as it moves out of our area, but we still have more storms back to the south and southwest of us, developing over the hill country and making their way up the I-35 corridor. You guys finished?
Yeah, we're done talking. So mainly, I think once we are done with this Freestone County storm, it's more than likely that we won't see any more tornado warned storms. So we could in that case, plausibly go back to our regular scheduled programming and then get ready for our 10 o'clock show.
I don't even remember what regular scheduled programming.
Yeah, pretty much based on how today's gone for sure. But yeah, yeah, I mean, but yes. So that should be the last of the warnings. And once it does clear Freestone County, we should be done here in terms of our tornado warned coverage here on 6 News. And we'll have more coming up. And Andy will have more coming up at 10, and I'll have more coming up on Texas Today at 4:30. Whether or not we have any more,
You gonna stay over?
nah, I'm gonna go ahead and go home and take a nap and go to sleep because this is pretty much it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 4:30, 7 a.m. on Texas Today.
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but once this is done, once this tornado warning storm is done,
Mr. Big Market, you're not going anywhere. I've got you to the end of April, buddy. All right, we're still tracking storms making their way across our area, mostly along the I-35 corridor or just to the east of it right now. Another hail producer making its way into Falls County. They're just to the east of Lott. Man, they're getting hammered. More action going on west of Highway 14 near Fort Parker, all the way up from Groesbeck to Mahia. We're still tracking almost solid rain going on there, and then along I-45. You're getting a little bit of a break. Centerville's still getting some rain. Buffalo getting some light spritzles. But you get up here to Fairfield, and it's still raining hard. And it rains all the way back over towards Gun Barrel and Malakoff and Canton. And it continues all the way up into northeast Texas. Sulphur Springs is getting hammered with heavy rains right now. And to the southwest you go. Are we on? Yeah, we're on Max 1 here. Yep. The heavy downpours of rain. Georgetown over to Circleville and Taylor just getting hammered again. Back on down through the north side of Austin, Cedar Park and even over towards Marble Falls, you're still getting some very heavy rain. And heavy rain over to Blanco too. The stuff just does not stop. But as I move the radar over to the west, you can see that the dry line is finally beginning to erode away a lot of this moisture, pushing it over towards East Texas. And once it gets across the I-35 corridor, it's running out of moisture across the interstate communities and pushing it all over towards the I-45 communities, East Texas, Louisiana, and then pushing it on up into the mid-Mississippi Valley as well. So,
yeah, and so we're looking at that storm. It's about to cross the Trinity River now, so that looks like our tornado coverage is about to come to a close here. It's 9:12 at this point, and
take us home, buddy.
all right, so yeah, we've got this storm. It's going to be over portions of, it's right over the Trinity River now, so more than likely we should see Freestone County dropped from all of the warnings. We still have Bryan College Station, areas just off to the east of there in northern sections of Grimes, as well as Madison County, including Madisonville, involved in that system, but it's looking more and more like this storm is pretty much done in terms of our viewing area counties, in terms of this tornado warning, and that does look like the last of the tornado warnings. We do expect to see a lot of the instability has dropped as a result of that thunderstorm warning activity because we don't have enough atmospheric recovery for any tornado threats, but we do have that hail core in southeastern sections of Bell County, just crossing 190 now, just to the north and west of Rogers.
2 1/4 inches of rain over in Groesbeck. Take a look at Max 1 here real quick. Just amazing to watch a couple of these storms here. It begins near Groesbeck and Thornton. You've got hail core showing up in it, and it just rolls right across Limestone and Freestone counties. Right behind it, down to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, we got new development south of Temple, moving into southern and southeastern Falls County, but pretty much all of eastern Falls County before it's over with. Very heavy rains falling for a lot, and Stranger and Blue Ridge towards Cossie as well, still holding together, and it's heading straight for Groesbeck and Fairfield, and they're going to get another round of rain tonight. Hopefully it will die down, but gosh, you know, you look at just the south of Marlin, you've got another hail core showing up.
Yes, exactly, just to the south of Marlin, exactly. And I do want to let you guys know that the tornado warning for Freestone has been allowed to expire. So that's it in terms of tornado warnings for Central Texas. But we do have a hail core along State Highway 7, as Andy just mentioned, to the west of Marlin, about to cross Highway 6 and just passed through the Chilton area, the Lot area, but a much bigger hail core just to the north and west of Rogers along US 190 and just off to the east of Sparks there in the city of just to the northwest of Rogers, about to cross toward Leedale and just to the south of the Heidenheimer area as well. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all she wrote for Central Texas as far as severe weather is concerned. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Freestone, so now that's a Tyler DMA thing and not a Temple Waco DMA thing. But we do have that storm in the Brazos Valley. May or may not clip Leon County with that warning, but I think that's pretty much it.
Well, let me make a deal with you, Jordan. You go home, get some rest.
All right.
And we'll turn this back over to network, but I will be back in probably half an hour or so just to give you an update on what's going on. I'm keeping an eye on this the storm in Falls County, the hail producer there just to the south of Marlin. So we appreciate you hanging with us throughout the evening. Hope you survived this without too terribly much damage at your place. It certainly has been a night when we have seen a little bit of everything: lightning, winds, hail, and even tornadoes.
All right. Thank you very much. We can go ahead and we can go back to network. Thank you very much. Y'all stay safe, and we will see y'all on 6 News at 10. Andy, lead us out.
We'll do what?
Andy, they want you.